A stream of light burning like a meteorite shot out from the stone door above the sky. Countless people's eyes were attracted by the passing stream of light. A fierce look appeared in Mo Kei's eyes and he said, "Supreme Elder, that despicable thief finally appeared." Mo Xingchen stood with his hands behind his back. The old man's thin body exuded a terrifying power that towered over the heaven and earth. His sharp eyes like an eagle focused on Lu Chen. He whispered, "Everyone obeys the order, and no one is allowed to do so. Keep your hands and kill this thief." Yes. 6 powerful warriors from the Mo family, including the 2 Mo Kei brothers, stood in the sky and blocked all Lu Chen's retreat routes. Terrifying pressure from all directions shrouded Lu Chen. The pressure from one of the old men made Lu Chen feel numb. The old man's strength might have reached the level of a late-stage martial god. Lu Chen counted carefully and found that there were 6 strong warriors in total. It seemed that the Mo family was really cornered this time. Although he had expected that Mo family warriors would guard here, the 6 martial gods were still beyond Lu Chen's expectations. Lu Chen's palms were constantly rippling with Phoenix Emperor flames, and his scorching breath caused the temperature between heaven and earth to rise suddenly. His breath was rising steadily, and he reached the realm of the martial god without relying on any pills. A clear phoenix cry sounded. Lu Chen punched out, and a firebird burning with the Phoenix Emperor's flames fluttered out from his arm. The domineering power tore through the space, and the thin true energy in the air was wiped out. It's burning. The giant flame bird's spiritual eyes looked sternly at the approaching Mo family martial god like a god. As its flame wings flapped, an overwhelming rain of fire fell from the sky and the earth, and the flames fell like meteorites and burned ragingly. Mo Xingchen's old eyes sparkled, and he said in a low voice, "Is this phoenix flame? Such domineering phoenix flame. It seems that this thief must contain phoenix essence and blood. Thief, I will see if I don't drain the phoenix blood from your body." Good boy. Having phoenix bloodline doesn't mean you have the qualifications to challenge my Mo family. Even I dare not approach this flame easily. It is truly a phoenix flame. But why is this phoenix flame different from what I remember? The phoenix flames of Feng Hangkong, the head of the Feng family back then, were not necessarily so domineering. Be careful and don't come into contact with the phoenix flames. This kid's phoenix flames are weird. Lu Chen raised his eyes indifferently and taunted in a low voice. The warriors of the Mo family are really as timid as flies. No wonder they are ranked at the bottom among the 7 major families of Nanshuang. How can they deal with me, a little demigod, and 6 warrior gods? No one dared to come forward. It was ridiculous. Speaking shamelessly will result in death for the rats. Rolling thunder condensed in Mo Xingchen's palm, and the purple thunder pulled the general trend of the world. It was filled with extremely shocking Zhenqi fluctuations and blasted towards the phoenix. The thunder collided fiercely with the Emperor's flame. After devouring the Emperor flame in the refining Emperor flame stone crystal, Lu Chen's phoenix flame evolved into the more domineering Phoenix Emperor flame, inheriting the immortality of the phoenix flame and the destructive power of the Emperor flame. The thunder light gradually dimmed, and Mo Xingchen frowned. How could this be possible? A demigod boy actually put him at a disadvantage in just one encounter. Mo Xingchen waved his hand, and purple thunder flashed between the sky and the earth. The thunder and lightning pierced the sky and struck towards the fire shadow of the phoenix. The purple thunder hit the flaming phoenix without any bias, and the phoenix neighed loudly, and on the wings of fire, the domineering Emperor's flames were condensed and shot out in all directions. Boom! Purple thunder arcs flashed in the palms of the 6 Mo family's martial gods, and deep purple seals were condensed in front of them. The moment the seals were condensed, the world dimmed, and purple lightning tore through the sky. The purple thunder became more and more dazzling, shrouding the world and Lu Chen in it, and the rolling thunder bombarded Lu Chen's phoenix flame wings. Boom! The moment the purple thunder was about to touch Lu Chen, a small dark tower emerged, shrouding Lu Chen in it. The small tower flickered. Lu Chen did not dodge and allowed the thunder to bombard the demon ceiling tower. "This is the demon ceiling tower, Mo," he exclaimed in surprise. Why did the demon ceiling tower appear intact in Lu Chen's hands? The demon ceiling tower clearly belonged to Chu Feng at first, but in the duel between Chu Feng and Lu Chen, the demon ceiling tower was torn apart by Lu Chen's claw while he was in the state of transforming into a dragon. Now that it appears intact, how did he repair the demon ceiling tower? Mo Kei's expression also showed a solemn look. When Chu Feng obtained the demon sealing tower, he also tested the defensive capabilities of this small tower. Even his full blow could not shatter the demon sealing tower. At that time, Lu Chen, the moment the demon sealing tower shattered, he was also shocked and speechless. Demon sealing tower. Mo Xingchen's eyes were filled with fierce murderous intent. The old man's figure disappeared like a mist. After dodging the domineering phoenix flames, he appeared in front of Lu Chen like a ghost. He raised his palm, and the thunder from the sky fell on the old man's palm. In it, the majestic and terrifying power is condensed. Under Lu Chen's astonished gaze, the old man's palm suddenly slapped the body of the demon sealing tower. The thunder with thunder patterns in his hand struck the body of the demon sealing tower. Cracks bloomed from the tower body. From the cracks in the old man's palm, the location extends to the entire tower body. Immediately afterwards, the demon sealing tower shattered like glass. Lu Chen's figure was also under that powerful impact, and his body retreated uncontrollably 100 meters away. He flapped his phoenix flame wings to stabilize his body and prevent himself from retreating any further. His deep eyes shone like a blade, as cold as a blade, with cold light. Lu Chen couldn't help but have a look of solemnity on his brows. The purple thunder in the old man's palm exuded a terrifying wave of energy, and he vaguely felt a strange sense of danger from it. Seeing that Lu Chen's defense was broken, the remaining 5 martial gods of the Mo family did not give Lu Chen any chance to breathe. They turned around the majestic qi in their bodies. Hundreds of purple thunderbolts fell densely under their control, and the sky and the earth were like thunder. Rolling thunder surged like the sea. Lu Chen dodged sideways very quickly, and the rolling thunder blasted the phoenix condensed from the phoenix flames, killing even the dregs. The purple thunder passed by Lu Chen, and his body felt a slight numbness. The lightning fell on the ground, and a huge black pit was blasted out of the thick ground, with billowing black smoke filling the pit. As Lu Chen's phoenix flame wings flapped, indescribable hot flames shook out, and his ghostly figure flew past the purple thunder and sped towards Lei Haihai. Lu Chen knew very well that he could never be a match for the 6 martial gods, and he had to escape from their encirclement quickly. Lu Chen didn't hesitate at all. He quickly formed a seal with his hands, and bright golden light quickly filled the air. Under everyone's surprised gaze, Lu Chen's body began to transform into a dragon, and the low dragon roar resounded through the sky. He relied on his tyrannical physical power to gallop through the thunder sea, and blasted towards Mo He's position. Lu Chen's figure shot towards Mo He. Judging from the auras emitted by the 6 martial gods, Mo He must be the weakest among the 6 martial gods. He is his best breakthrough point. The dragon and the phoenix are striking. Within the rolling sea of thunder, the phantoms of dragons and phoenixes were condensed. Lu Chen swung out his fist, and 2 ancient monsters surrounded by the aura of death, the phantoms of dragons and phoenixes, blasted towards Mo He's body. Mo He's pupils suddenly shrank. Looking at the dragon and phoenix wrapped in violent energy, he suddenly raised his arm and roared. Thousands of thunders. Thousands of purple thunder lights bloomed, and the overwhelming thunder blasted towards the phantom of the dragon and phoenix. The dragon and phoenix seemed to be unable to feel the pain, tearing apart the bonds of the thunder. As the momentum of the thunder weakened, the phantom of the dragon and phoenix, the shadow, is also dim and about to disappear. Lu Chen followed behind the dragon and phoenix phantom. His dragon claws, capable of annihilating all things, tore apart all of Mo He's defenses, and tyrannically tore open Mo He's chest. Mo He's chest was stained with blood, and he roared in a low voice, "You bitch! Today is the day you die." Everyone obeys the order and forms a formation. Mo Xingchen gave an order. Except for Mo He, who was severely injured, the other 5 martial gods formed seals with their hands. Purple seals bloomed in front of them. The seals pulled the purple thunder in the sky, forming a huge purple thunder barrier, penetrating between heaven and earth, blocking all Lu Chen's escape routes. Lu Chen saw that something was wrong, so he punched Mo He without sparing any force. Mo He spat out blood and his body fell from a height of 10,000 feet. Lu Chen exploded towards the outside of the barrier, trying to pass through the shackles of the barrier, but as his body got closer and closer to the edge of the formation, a dark purple lightning arc wrapped around his arm, and a numb electric shock sensation stimulated the landing. Shen's nerves made him couldn't help but retract his outstretched palm. Lu Chen's eyes trembled. This lightning arc was weird. The purple barrier enveloped Lu Chen, and the warriors' noisy discussions could be heard below. Are these warriors really the martial gods of the Mo family? The 6 martial gods can't even deal with a demigod. The warriors of the Mo family are really a bunch of losers. That's the Mo family's thundering prison-splitting formation. Who is this person? He actually allowed the Mo family to expend such a huge price to activate the thundering prison-splitting formation. Thunder prison-breaking formation. I'm afraid he will be killed in the Sea of Thunder without even leaving a trace, right? Many people laughed jokingly. In their opinion, Lu Chen's fate was already doomed. Ji Shuang's expression became solemn, and she couldn't help but sweat for Lu Chen in her heart. His blue eyes looked at Lu Chen's figure dully, and said in confusion, "Is that Lu Chen?" He asked me at the beginning, "Are you asking about the Mo family's situation because of the Mo family's spiritual herbs?" The thief won't be captured just yet. Mo Xingchen, the supreme elder of the Mo family, roared loudly, his voice like a bell sounding like rolling thunder. Terrifying power emerged from the old man's body, pressing towards Lu Chen. Under the pressure like a tide, Lu Chen slowly clasped his hands. He stood between heaven and earth and sneered contemptuously. "I underestimated your Mo family, but for me, a little thief, I did not hesitate to stir up thunder. Prison-breaking formation, the Mo family really thinks highly of me. The thief shall die." The many martial gods of the Mo family obviously didn't want to talk nonsense with Lu Chen. They formed seals on their hands and the vast and terrifying chi rolled in. They controlled the thundering prison formation, and thousands of thunders fell towards Lu Chen's figure, giving no trace to Lu Chen. Any respite. Desolation Rift Claw. The dim true energy lingered on Lu Chen's dragon claws. Lu Chen pushed his speed to the extreme, and the dragon claws tore through the space, trying to tear apart the lightning arc barrier. But as Lu Chen's arm came closer, the lightning arc quickly wrapped around his arm, greatly reducing his speed and strength. Before Lu Chen's arm even touched the barrier, his strength disappeared, as if it had hit a piece of cotton without causing any ripples. The overwhelming purple thunder continued to condense, and the rolling thunder resounded through the sky, shaking the entire world, making many weak warriors tremble with fear. Mo Xingchen's eyes flashed, and his voice was extremely low as he said, "What a complete idiot. You want to break through the thundering prison-breaking formation with just your own strength. It's such a delusion." "Oh, really? Then today I want to see if your Mo family's clan protecting thundering prison-breaking formation can trap me." Lu Chen looked fearless as he whispered, "System, breakthrough. Ding, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the late demigod stage. Current destiny value. 350,000." Lu Chen's calm voice echoed throughout the world without any panic. The unrivaled power emerged from him without reservation. In the state of dragon transformation, his power was already comparable to that of a mid-stage martial god. Supreme Elder, this thief seems to have become stronger again. There was a hint of solemnity on Mo Kei's expression. It was incredible that Lu Chen could still break through under such circumstances. But Mo Xingchen had lived for 300 years, and based on his experience, he naturally believed that Lu Chen was taking drugs. He said with an indifferent expression, "Don't panic, this power does not belong to him, and it will never last for too long. When the time passes, the thief will be killed by the thunder. Mo Kei, don't be distracted, the thunder will break the prison array. There can't be any negligence." Mo Kei gritted his teeth slightly and said, "Yes, Supreme Elder." Then Mo Kei held his breath and focused his thoughts on the thundering prison formation. Lu Chen's majestic and profound aura swept over him, and he allowed the purple thunder to fall on his back. Lu Chen gritted his teeth, his eyes suddenly focused and said, "Desolate Abyss Claw, break it for me." That terrifying blow caused many warriors who were watching the excitement to talk about it. "Huh? Damn, is this kid on drugs? Aren't you talking nonsense? He must have taken a pill that can improve his cultivation. Otherwise, how could he have broken through from the mid-stage demigod to the late stage in just one breath?" The veins on Lu Chen's arms bulged like a horned dragon, and wisps of black light wrapped around Lu Chen's arms. The purple thunder light dimmed the moment it touched the black light. In the state of transforming into a dragon, Lu Chen's pain will be greatly reduced. The paralysis brought by the thunder to Lu Chen will also be weakened. The dragon's claws tore open the thunder barrier. One of Lu Chen's arms had already penetrated the thunder barrier. Lu Chen was only one step away from escaping from the thunder-cracking prison array. Mo Xingchen was dumbfounded and looked at this scene with a strange expression. His Mo family's thundering prison formation was about to be forcibly broken by this thief. A thought in his mind told him that this child must not be kept. Mo Xingchen's chest rose and fell violently, and the murderous intent emerged in his eyes. The old man ordered. While you are controlling the thundering prison-breaking formation, you must not let this traitor break free. I will enter the thundering prison-breaking formation and kill him. Mo Xingchen gave the order, and he carried the violent thunder into the thundering prison formation. The figure appeared strangely above Lu Chen's head, and the purple thunder in his palms danced with thunder arcs, killing Lu Chen. Lu Chen hurriedly pulled out his arm from the thunder barrier, raised his dragon claw and used his physical strength to catch the old man's full blow. Without any accident, Lu Chen's body fell downwards as if he had been hit hard. In terms of realm, Lu Chen's real strength is only in the late demigod stage. And Mo Xingchen has already entered the late stage of the martial god, and has been in it for decades. The gap between him and Mo Xingchen is by no means a tiny bit, nor can it be bridged casually. Lu Chen's feet plowed deep ravines on the ground. He stamped his feet violently, dodging the thousands of thunderbolts in the thundering prison formation, and blasting towards the old man's thin figure. The Xuanyuan sword condensed in his hand. Xuanyuan's sword ripples with unparalleled power, tearing apart the purple thunder, and splitting the sky with one sword. Mo Xingchen stared at Lu Shen with eyes as deep as the stars. The old man stood between heaven and earth and said fiercely with mighty power, "Since your talent is so evil, I can only kill you to avoid future troubles. Thunderlord, help me." Magic purple thunder surged towards Mo Xingchen, and Mo Xingchen was bathed in the sea of thunder. With a stern look on his face, he casually raised his palm and fired a bright thunder light, blasting away at the Xuanyuan sword's sword light. The thunder light and the sword light were entangled, and the annihilating thunder echoed with the harsh sound of thunder. In the sea of thunder, the sword energy of Xuanyuan's sword was dispersed, leaving only faint ripples. Mo Xingchen carried the thunder that could wipe out everything. The force came to fight towards Lu Chen. The two forces collided together, and a buzzing and trembling sound erupted in the sky. After a brief contact, a sense of numbness swept through Lu Chen's body, causing his eyes to appear in a trance for a short time, and then his body fell into a trance, flying out uncontrollably. Lu Chen flapped his dragon wings to stabilize his figure in midair, and his cold and terrifying eyes stared at the thunder wrapped around the old man's body. It can be said that in the thundering prison-breaking formation, Mo Xingchen is almost invincible in the late stage of the same level of martial god. Purple thunderclouds containing the power of terrifying thunder gathered above Lu Chen's head, and streaks of lightning carrying a destructive aura tore through the space, forming an offensive and defensive momentum with Mo Xingchen's offensive. A sharp tearing pain came from Lu Chen's arm, causing him to grit his teeth tightly. He held the Xuanyuan sword tightly in his palm to prevent the Xuanyuan sword from slipping from his hand. Brilliant seals condensed from Lu Chen's chest, and he shouted with blood flowing from his mouth, "Dragon King world-destroying wave." The bright beam of light penetrated the thunder and blasted out towards Mo Xingchen in the thunder sea. Wherever the golden light passed, the void collapsed, the space shattered, and the destructive waves shot through one after another purple thunder. The Dragon King's world-destroying wave is Lu Chen's strongest attack. If this can't kill Mo Xingchen, it means that Lu Chen is no match for Mo Xingchen. No. Mo Ke activated the thundering prison-breaking formation to help the Supreme Elder block this blow. Yes. The four demigods outside the thundering prison-splitting formation moved the purple seals on their chests tactfully, and a steady stream of majestic chi was injected into the thundering prison-cracking formation from their bodies. The dimmed thunder in the thundering prison-cracking formation shone brightly again. A thick bolt of lightning blocked in front of Mo Xingchen. As the bright beam of light dimmed, Lu Chen's aura also weakened. He braced himself and gasped for air. The thunderous prison formation gave him no chance to hurt Mo Xingchen. Lu Chen couldn't help but laugh at himself. He seemed to be too confident in his own strength. In fact, Lu Chen could exchange 1.2 million destiny points for elixirs to maintain the strength of the mid-level martial god for an hour, but he was reluctant to waste 1.2 million destiny points, so he used the destiny points to improve his cultivation. As a result, now put yourself in danger. Lu Chen quickly exchanged a healing elixir and an elixir for replenishing chi. Current destiny value: 300,000. As the strong medicinal power of the elixir bloomed in Lu Chen's body, Lu Chen's unstable aura gradually began to recover. He stood proudly in the sea of thunder, without a trace of fear on his face. Could it be? That his journey as a villain will stop here? Lu Chen didn't believe the evil way. Come again. The already silent golden seal in front of him was rippling with astonishing zhenqi fluctuations. Lu Chen clenched his hands, his face turned pale. The two pills needed time to be refined and absorbed, but in Lu Chen's situation, even a few seconds was a luxury. He could only hold on to his body and use the Dragon King's world-destroying wave again. The bright beam of light gathered Lu Chen's remaining infuriating energy and unleashed Lu Chen's final blow. Mo Xingchen's eyes narrowed, and then he sneered. Are you still struggling in vain? Such a monster's martial arts talent makes me reluctant to kill you, but you are the enemy of my Mo family, so I can only ask you to die. Mo Xingchen's face was extremely gloomy. He raised the strange purple thunder in his palm and said in a calm tone, "Thunder shakes the whole world." Deafening thunder echoed in the sky, and the majestic true energy like a tide rippled from the old man's thin body. The thunder between heaven and earth became more and more brilliant, and the annihilating thunder tore through the space and roared towards Lu Chen's chest. Kill and go. The lightning in the thunder sea condensed so fast that Lu Chen had no time to dodge. He was hit by the thunder again, and a sweet taste overflowed from his throat. His eyes glanced at the stone gate in the sea of thunder behind him, which might be his only chance to escape from the thundering prison-cracking formation. But what does this mean? This means that Lu Chen will stay in the holy ruins for hundreds of years. This means that he needs to go through 100 years of loneliness and wait for the holy ruins to open again. Of course, this is not the most terrifying thing. The level of danger in the holy ruins that has lost its light is unimaginable. This is why no one has ever lived in the holy ruins for more than 100 years. Thunderbolts roared like thunderbirds one after another, hitting Lu Chen's chest impartially. Lu Chen was already covered with wounds. He had never been so embarrassed. Mo Xingchen was so powerful that even the thought of struggling disappeared. Lu Chen raised his arms with splitting eyes. The blood marks on the corners of his mouth were dazzlingly red. He raised the dragon claw dripping with blood and pointed it at Mo Xingchen. He roared hoarsely, "If I don't die, I will kill your entire clan." Mo Xingchen suddenly became furious. Murderous intent surged out of his eyes again, and he still dared to speak nonsense even though he was at the end of his strength. Are you worried that you can't die quickly enough? Lu Chen's figure shot towards the stone door behind him. The stone door that was about to close in Lu Chen's pupils rippled slightly, and a silver-haired girl appeared from the deep space. That's Sister Fairy. Ji Shuangyu's blue eyes flashed with joy, and he cried out excitedly. Wang Tian paid off. He had been waiting here for 3 whole days, and finally let him wait for Long Bayou. Long Bayou saved him in the holy ruins for the ice-winged Kisami's demon pill. From that moment on, Long Bayou's exquisite silhouette could no longer be left in his mind, as if it was engraved in his mind. The moment Long Bayou's fairy-like silhouette emerged from the realm of the holy ruins and appeared in the thundering prison formation, noisy exclamations arose from heaven and earth. That's the Valkyrie Long Bayou. She is indeed as beautiful as the rumors say. I'm afraid I will never fall in love with another woman again in my life. Damn you, you are so damned, you dare to covet my wife. What a joke, when did Long Bayou become your wife? Don't make any noise, Long Bayou is mine. Lu Chen did not slow down because of Long Bayou's appearance. He had to enter the Holy Ruins realm before it closed, otherwise he would definitely die. When Long Bayou saw Lu Chenyi rushing towards the Holy Ruins that was about to be closed without hesitation, she was slightly startled and subconsciously stretched out her kakins to stop him. But Lu Chen's figure had already entered the realm of the Holy Ruins. Long Bayou looked back at the deep space with slight fluctuations. Under the incredible gaze of tens of thousands of warriors, he resolutely turned around, followed Lu Chen, and re-entered the realm of the Holy Ruins. In the trembling and surprised eyes of countless people, the stone door closed, and the deep space was completely closed. This scene was so sudden that before anyone could realize what was happening, Long Bayou and Lu Chen disappeared into the thundering prison formation. Ji Shuang's soul trembled suddenly. He clenched his hands and said with eyes splitting, "Sister Fairy, what on earth are you doing? What's going on? Why did the Valkyrie enter the realm of the Holy Ruins with the cheap thief who stole the Mo family's Baisao pavilion? It's over. My goddess is gone." Even Mo Xingchen didn't react to this sudden scene. Mo Xingchen clenched his hands tightly and thought to himself, "Oops, my Mo family's spiritual grass is still in the hands of that thief." But now it's too late. The stone gate of the Holy Ruins realm has been completely closed, and there is no way to reopen it in less than 100 years. Mo Xingchen cursed with pain on his face. What kind of hatred do we, the Mo family, have with you, you bastard? Are you willing to return the spiritual grass to my Mo family even if you die? As Lu Chen's figure disappeared into the thundering prison formation, the remaining 4 martial gods of the Mo family all dropped their arms exhausted. One of the martial gods fell towards the ground to check Mo He's injury, while Mo Kei's figure was like a ghost. He suddenly appeared next to Mo Xingchen, frowning and saying, "Supreme Elder. We seem to be in trouble." Mo Xingchen said with trembling anger. "A big thing? Is there anything more important than the loss of tens of thousands of spiritual herbs from my Mo family?" Mo Kei remained silent for a long time, and said with a trembling voice, "Just now. The woman in white who was trapped in the holy ruins with the cheap thieves is the daughter of Long Chen, the head of the Long family, the Long Chen who is known as the Valkyrie. Bayou." Mo Xingchen's trembling and angry look was replaced by trembling. He thought he had heard wrong and muttered, "What did you say? She is the Valkyrie of the Long family, Long Bayou?" Mo Kei looked dazed and replied, "Yes." Mo Xingchen froze on the spot like a bolt from the blue. The corners of his mouth kept twitching, and he muttered in a low voice in despair, "Why is she Long Bayou? Why is she Long Bayou, the Valkyrie of the Long family?" Mo Xingchen seemed to have aged dozens of years. His legs began to weaken and his body was crumbling. If Mo Kei hadn't supported him, the old man might have fallen from a height of 10,000 feet. Mo Xingchen's eyes were dazed for a while. No more anger could arise. Even if Mo's Baisao pavilion was stolen, he would not be so frightened. One can imagine the seriousness of the matter. Mo Kei's consciousness turned pale and he said, "But Supreme Elder, Long Bayou entered the holy ruins in order to prevent Lu Chen. From the beginning to the end, our Mo family did not have any conflict with Long Bayou." Mo Xingchen sighed heavily and said, "Mo Kei, do you think the Long family will easily forgive my Mo family? Long Bayou has a very important position in the Long family. In order to find phoenix essence and blood for her, the Long family bloodbathed the entire phoenix overnight. Family, the Feng family is the second largest among the 8 Nanshuang families. Just overnight, the Feng family has become a hell on earth with mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Mo Kei, let my descendants of the Mo family escape for their lives when we go back." Mo Kei was completely shocked by the old man's words. Mo Xingchen actually asked him to dismiss the Mo family warriors. Mo Kei suddenly clenched his stretched out 5 fingers and said in a solemn voice, "Supreme Elder, Long Bayou entered the realm of the holy ruins by himself. What does it have to do with my Mo family? The tens of thousands of warriors here can all prove it to my Mo family." Mo Kei said forcefully, saying that he would not dismiss the Mo family warriors no matter what. This was the heritage that his Mo family had accumulated over thousands of years. How could he really disband them? Mo Xingchen glanced at the crowd below, and it seemed that there were a few old acquaintances among them. Maybe they could help him explain the whole story to the Long family, and the Mo family still had a chance. In the crowd, Tu Shansu looked solemn and said enigmatically, "How about Master Duan? With the power of a demigod, he fought 6 martial gods alone and severely damaged Mo He. Such a monster's martial arts talent must never be found again in the entire ancient martial arts world. There won't be a second one." Tu Shan Duan's eyes flashed dimly. Maybe other warriors thought Lu Chen was a joke, but no one knew Lu Chen's strength better than him. As the supreme elder of the Mo family, Mo Xingchen was ranked among the top 10 in the Nanshuang Empire. But even a strong man like him couldn't easily kill Lu Chen. Lu Chen also severely injured Mo He in front of Mo Xingchen. How many people in the ancient martial arts world can do this? Tu Shanduan was even glad that he had listened to Tu Shansu's words and didn't embarrass Lu Chen. It was obviously not a wise move to cause trouble like Lu Chen. The light in the holy ruins is dim. Without the light, there is only endless darkness. In the dark depths that reveal the breath of death, monster beasts roar, thousands of trees tremble, and countless strange roars come and go. Those ancient monsters hiding in the depths of darkness also began to appear. Lu Chen's body fell sharply, and the sound of breaking wind sounded in his ears. His consciousness gradually became blurred. Just before he completely lost consciousness, a giant bird with its body burning with flames appeared in Lu Chen's deep eyes. The giant bird soared in the sky, surrounded by red clouds. It passed through the dim sky and became the only bright light in this dead space. Lu Chen subconsciously said, "Is that Phoenix?" The firebird seemed to be frightened, turned around and fled away. The sky lost the still bright firelight and became completely dark, but it was not the kind of darkness where you could not see your fingers. In this kind of darkness, you could still clearly see the blurry outlines of the mountains in the distance. Lu Chen's body began to fall sharply. He lost consciousness completely and fell like a meteor. In this dark space at this moment, an endless cold feeling of death swept over him, and the temperature between heaven and earth dropped sharply. Long Bayou's bright starry eyes stared at Lu Chen's sharply falling figure, and she whispered, "Lu Chen, this is what I owe you." Wandering Dragon Jinghongying. At first, Long Bayou gave Lu Chen a 9th grade elixir, the void-breaking pill, but Long Yao took the void-breaking pill back again. Long Bayou never wanted to owe anyone a favor. When she took away the ancient dragon essence and blood from Lu Chen, she always felt a little guilty towards Lu Chen. Perhaps this was the reason why Long Bayou chose to save Lu Chen. Long Bayou chased Lu Chen like a stunning silhouette. She pulled out the Leuan sword from the scabbard at her waist. A crisp sword cry sounded, and a bright and flawless light tore through the darkness. Lu Chen's body began to slowing down. He slowly landed on the cold ground. Long Bayou's beautiful glass-like eyes were fixed on Lu Chen's side face. There was no wave in her eyes. Her jade hand with clear bones gently placed on Lu Chen's chest and transferred her true energy into Lu Chen's body to protect her. His heartbeat said, "Lu Chen, you and I will never owe each other." A warm zhenqi flowed into Lu Chen's tendons, causing his fingers to move slightly, but he didn't look like he was about to wake up. In the dim and lightless holy ruins, 2 blood moons rise slowly. Endless danger surges between them. Those monsters that have been silent for more than half a month are about to come out to look for food. They hate light. Only darkness is their home ground. A terrifying roar that shocked thousands of miles echoed in the endless realm of the holy ruins. Among the mountains and valleys, a giant demon ape with a body covering the mountains suddenly appeared. Its face was ferocious, and its huge body moved. Suddenly, as the earth trembled violently, a glimmering cold light burst out from those 2 blood moon-like spiritual eyes, carrying boundless destructive power. Long Bayou's eyes shrank. Before she left the Holy Ruins realm, the giant ape chased her for a full 3 hours until she reached the exit of the Holy Ruins realm, but it still refused to give up. If it weren't for this giant demon ape, Long Bayou wouldn't have been able to leave the Holy Ruins at the last moment. The energy fluctuations emitted by this giant demon ape were at the level of a 9th level monster. Even in the realm of the god of war, she was not absolutely sure to escape from the giant demon ape's hands. The giant demon ape felt the ethereal aura coming from the distance. He raised his thick arms and hammered his strong chest, and let out a deafening roar. It moved towards Long Bayou's body with heavy steps. Direction. Long Bayou bit her red lips with her white teeth, and a terrifying feeling of intimidation swept over her heart. If she was alone, Long Bayou might still be able to fight the giant ape, but with Lu Chen beside her, Long Bayou did not dare to hesitate at all and could only take Lu Chen away. The giant demon ape smashed a 1,000-foot-high mountain into pieces with one punch. He raised the broken rock above his head with both arms and threw it violently. The huge gravel hit Long Bayou, and the black shadow of the 100-foot-long boulder passed over Long Bayou's head. Suddenly, a huge boulder fell in front of Long Bayou, blocking Long Bayou's retreat. A loud rumbling sound echoed under the sky, and the raised dust obscured Long Bayou's already blurred vision. The beautiful figure reacted quickly and dodged the falling boulder at an extremely fast speed. Behind Long Bayou, Lu Chen was unconsciously controlled by her power and fled with her figure. The giant demon ape roared like a demon, and the deafening roar echoed in the sky. It kicked the earth apart, and its giant arms slammed into the ground, making the world tremble. Roar. At this moment, a roar of gold-pierced rocks came from high in the sky, and a giant bird whose body was burning with dark green flames swooped towards the giant demon ape with a fierce power. The sound of the long cry reached Long Bayou's ears, making her tremble. Long Bayou raised his panicked pupils, and she couldn't help but trembled in her mouth. That's the ancient monster 9 Heavens Minkyu. Unexpectedly, there are monsters like the 9 Heavens Minkyu in this realm of the Holy Ruins. 2 strange beams of light shot out from the depths of the dark green pupils of the 9 Heavens bird. It flapped its wings, flying sand and rocks, stirring up the wind and clouds. The figure of the nine heavens Ming bird passed over the head of the giant demon ape, and its sharp claws scratched, leaving terrifying blood marks on the surface of the giant demon ape's body. Dark green flames burned in the blood marks, which were the ghost fire on the wings of the nine heavens Ming bird. The underworld fire evaporated the gushing blood, and white bones appeared on the giant demon ape's body. The giant demon ape roared violently, and it smashed the mountain with a fist in anger, and the gravel smashed towards the nine heavens Mingqiu. The dull roar shook the mountains and valleys and trembled. The monsters hiding in the depths trembled and did not dare to make any sound. In the dim space, even the ninth-level monsters did not dare to come out to look for food without restraint, because they don't know what kind of enemy is waiting for it. How could the speed of the nine heavens Ming bird be matched by the giant demon ape? It easily dodged the attack of the giant demon ape, fluttered its wings and soared in the sky. Its dark green eyes erupted with a strange cold light, and it stared at the crazy giant ape with stern eyes. With a high-pitched neighing sound, the nine heavens Ming bird folded its wings slightly and suddenly opened them, and thousands of feathers burning with ghost fire burst out overwhelmingly. The feathers left bottomless holes on the ground, and the giant demon ape's arms exploded with dripping blood. It roared impotently and furiously, but the nine heavens bird soared above the nine heavens, and it was impossible to touch it at all. With a roar, the giant demon ape's body fell to the ground. The giant demon ape's body was torn apart by the feathers of the nine heavens Ming bird. The wounds were burning with strange ghost fire. The huge body was as motionless as a mountain of blood, as if all life was lost. Seeing the death of the giant demon ape, the Jushin Mingqiu saw a fierce light in its eyes and swooped down, preparing to completely wipe out the life of the giant demon ape. In front of the two ninth-level monsters, Long Bayou did not dare to stop. In the white light, she and Lu Chen appeared dozens of miles away. There was still darkness all around her, making it difficult for Long Bayou to know the direction. In order for Long Bayou to heal Lu Chen's injuries, she also stopped in a deep valley. The valley is less than 5 meters narrow, so it's fairly safe. There won't be any powerful monsters lurking in this narrow valley, so it seems to be a good hiding place. In the dark canyon, there are bright purple stamens blooming. The small purple flowers sway their petals, and the petals are covered with a thin layer of frost. The temperature in the holy ruins is getting colder and colder. Long Bayou made a soft sound in his mouth. Although I don't know how you got into trouble with the Mo family, you should be considered one of my few friends. I will save you. After that, Long Bayou considerately let Lu Chen lie down on the ground and lit a bonfire beside him. Although Long Bayou knew that fire meant danger in the realm of the holy ruins, at this time it was too cold, and the biting wind howled through the valley, piercing into people's skin like sharp swords. Long Bayou was worried that Lu Chen's body would become hypothermic. But what Long Bayou didn't know was that Lu Chen had the blood of Shenfeng, so he wouldn't feel much no matter how cold it was. Beside the weak bonfire, Long Bayou's long hair, as bright as the Milky Way, was scattered casually behind her. A white skirt outlined her graceful curves. Her thin body was trembling slightly in the cold. She adjusted the inner energy in her body. Protect Lu Chen from the cold. As time passed little by little, Lu Chen showed no sign of waking up. Long Bayou didn't know what happened outside the holy ruins, but she recognized Mo Xingchen, the supreme elder of the Mo family, and Mo Xingchen, the supreme elder of the Mo family, at the first sight. Then the Mo family's thundering prison-breaking formation. In the bleak cold wind, Long Bayou's cold eyes focused on Lu Chen's face, and her voice was as light as ice. Although I don't know why I had the idea of saving you, I don't regret it. Even if you die in the realm of the holy ruins, it will be better than returning to that dirty place. Long Bayou was talking to herself alone. She seemed to be used to being alone. Boom. Long. The ground began to undulate violently, and a huge black figure 100 feet tall in the distance stepped towards the direction of the valley. Long Bayou's nerves were extremely tense. Such heavy steps must be caused by the ancient demon again. She put out the bonfire with a wave of her hand, not even daring to make a slight breath. Above the valley, 2 scarlet blood moons looked down. The scarlet eyes stared at Long Bayou and Lu Chen below. Long Bayou's cold water eyes looked at each other with those giant scarlet eyes. She was shocked. Trembling. This is a giant demon ape. Why isn't it dead? Long Bayou's mind went blank for a moment. She looked at the murderous giant ape in disbelief. Just now, under the fierce attack of the Nine Heavens Ming bird, The giant ape lost all its vitality and fell to the ground, but now it reappeared on the ground, in front of Long Bayou's eyes. Seeing that the feathers of the nine heavens bird were still stuck on the top of the giant demon ape's head, Long Bayou could definitely believe that this was the giant demon ape that had fallen into madness just now. Could it be that the appearance of being defeated just now was just the disguise of the giant demon ape? I'm afraid this is the only possibility. The moment Jushin Minkyu lowered its guard, the giant demon ape who was pretending to be dead seized the opportunity and died in the hands of the giant demon ape. The giant ape's fangs were exposed, and smelly saliva flowed from the corners of its mouth. It stamped its huge feet violently, and gravel rolled down from the top of the narrow valley, falling towards the canyon. It seems that this cunning giant ape is not going to let her and Lu Chen go. In this case, it can only let you die. The leuan sword in Long Bayou's hand flashed with sharp sword light, a faint blue light and shadow passed by, and an unrivaled sword energy whizzed past, shattering the gravel that was falling toward the land, and the gravel turned into powder, like floating in the canyon. A cold light flashed across Long Bayou's quiet starry eyes, and then the zhenchi in her body rippled. Her silhouette appeared above the dark sky like a swimming dragon. She gently raised the leuan sword in her hand and made a wave. Concentrating her domineering and unparalleled sword energy, she lightly twirled the leuan sword and stabbed towards the giant demon ape quickly. The giant demon ape also suffered a lot of damage in the fight with the Jushin Mingqiao just now, but the giant demon ape relied on its rough skin and thick flesh, so the fierce attack of the Jushin Mingqiao could hardly hurt its real vital points. The giant demon ape saw the bright sword light and stretched out his arm to grab Long Bayou's body. The bright sword light collided with its huge palm, leaving a shocking blood mark on the palm of the giant demon ape's hand. The giant demon ape screamed, its huge body convulsed slightly, and its scarlet eyes like the waning moon burst out with endless anger. It roared and raised its palm, and the huge palm pressed down, trying to kill Long Bai with one palm. Yu was slapped to death on the ground. Long Bayou knew very well how powerful the giant demon ape was, and had no intention of dealing with it. Every move he made was a killing move. A dazzling seal condensed from behind Long Bayou, and two crescent-shaped blades danced, and even the space where the blade passed could be torn apart. Long Bayou's deep and agile eyes stared indifferently at the giant hand covering the sky above. With a wave of her bright and flawless lotus-rooted arm, the crescent blade carrying the bright glow passed through like a stream of light, penetrating into the giant demon ape's iron-like hand. The cast-like palm, the sound of metal clashing, the fire flying. Roar! The giant ape shook its strong muscles on its chest. It seemed as if it couldn't feel the pain. The palms continued to cover it. Long Bayou dodged the huge palms lightly. Under the control of his mind, the two blood-stained crescent moons split. Open the rough iron skin of the giant demon ape and fly out from its palm. Two crescent-like sword lights streaked across the body of the giant demon ape, leaving shallow scratches on its body. As a ninth-level monster, the body of the giant demon ape is as hard as a giant rock, as hard. Obviously, the crescent-shaped blade had no effect on the behemoth in front of him. The dim space was filled with a pungent stench, and the nauseating stench made Long Bayou frown slightly. She was suspended above the head of the giant demon ape. The glazed cloud sword in her hand condensed the sword light, and she pointed straight towards it. The giant demon ape fell on its head. The giant demon ape seemed to have a premonition of danger. It raised its head, and the bright divine light condensed in its mouth. The scarlet blood eyes spread endless anger, and a wave of true energy that could wipe out everything spurted out, and with that the swords clashed together. Bathed in the majestic waves of true energy, Long Bayou's consciousness began to blur, her ears were buzzing, and her bones seemed to be shattered. At this moment, she was like a duckweed swinging in the torrent, her body hard to control. A trace of blood spilled from the corner of her mouth, and the white dress that was not stained became torn. The bloodstains quickly spread on the dress, and her crystal white breasts could be vaguely seen. If the sword energy of Liuyan's sword hadn't relieved her of most of her power, Long Bayou's body might have been destroyed by the beam of light. Long Bayou's expression was erratic, as if he was about to die together. She bit her red lips with her white teeth and said, "You forced me to unblock the Liuyan sword." As Long Bayou's cold and light voice fell, a bright seal appeared on Liuyan's sword's body. The blade cut through Long Bayou's palm. Long Bayou clenched his palm tightly, and from the gap in his palm, a drop of contained the essence and blood filled with majestic true energy dripped onto the intricate white seals. The seal was dyed crimson red by the drop of essence and blood, and gradually faded and dissipated under the gaze of Long Bayou's cold eyes. Immediately afterwards, the Leuan sword suddenly erupted with sword energy like a tide. Although the sword energy was not as sharp as Lu Chen's Xuanyuan sword, it slowly rippled across the vast world like a stormy sea, giving people a sense of force. A majestic and endless feeling. Under the scarlet gaze of the giant demon ape, Long Bayou's white hair, which was as bright as the Milky Way, began to turn into green hair bit by bit. The green hair rose with the wind, and along with countless Zhenchi gathered towards the Leuan sword, her eyes were focused. Han said, Leuan sword technique. As an ancient artifact, the Leuan sword contained too much power. The Long family was worried that Long Bayou would be unable to control it. Before handing the Leuan sword to Long Bayou, they set a seal in the Leuan sword. Just now, Long Bayou had completely released the seal of Leuan sword. At the edge of the Leuan sword that shimmered with cold light, the bright and solid chi rippled with strange ripples. Long Bayou gritted his teeth and whispered, "Go to hell." The moment the sword energy condensed, a fierce wind swept through the dim space, roaring like a sharp blade. As the Leuan sword cut through the sky, a vast and unparalleled Zhenchi sword light cut through the sky. The blue sword light seemed to tear the entire Holy Ruins realm into two halves, and the mountains in the distance were cut directly, split into pieces, shattered into pieces. The giant demon ape hammered its strong chest violently, baring its fangs, and a trace of fear flashed across its scarlet eyes. But as a ninth-level monster, how could it show weakness? The giant ape roared and faced the majestic azure sword energy, stretched out his arms and tried to crush the Leuan sword's sword energy with its powerful physical strength. Ouch! Wherever the sword energy passed, the air erupted with a harsh sonic boom sound. The sword energy, which was rippling with vast infuriating energy, struck with the giant fist of the giant demon ape without any bias. The devastating power was enough to destroy everything, including Troll Ape. A huge arm was thrown away by the giant ape, and the dripping and fishy smell of blood filled the space. But the giant ape was not dead. It seemed to be aware of the tyranny of the sword energy, or maybe it was afraid, so it chose to avoid it at the last moment, but the sword energy emitted by the Leuan sword still tore one of its arms apart. Unspeakable severe pain spread all over the giant ape's body. It howled heartbreakingly, and its violent roar resounded throughout the world. The giant ape did not escape, and its proud beastly will did not allow it to die. Escape. The scarlet pupils of the giant demon ape were filled with a dark and violent aura. Under Long Bayou's gaze, it stamped its feet violently, raised its remaining left arm, and charged towards Long Bayou. The moment the giant demon ape jumped up, the earth trembled violently, as if even the earth was afraid of the terrifying strength of the giant demon ape. Long Bayou clenched her white teeth. Although she had begun to lose strength, she knew that unless she killed this beast completely, it would never stop. The ground trembled, Lu Chen's fingers in the dark canyon moved slightly, and He Lingxi's panicked call came from the Soul Sea. Lu Chen. Lu Chen. Wake up quickly, you idiot, hurry up and give me the girl wakes up. If she doesn't wake up, we won't even have the last chance to escape. He Lingxi's little spirit body appeared next to Lu Chen. She looked at the unconscious Lu Chen and said eagerly. She couldn't help but stretched out her arm to poke Lu Chen's face, but her fingers penetrated directly into Lu Chen's body. In her desperation, she seemed to forget that she was just a Dao soul body and had no sense of touch. But the white-haired woman can't hold on any longer. If Lu Chen doesn't wake up soon, everything the white-haired woman has done will be in vain. Damn it, He Lingxi began to blame herself. If she had not emptied the Mo family's spiritual herbs, Lu Chen would not have fallen into death because of her. It's a pity that there is no regret medicine in the world. Even if she wants to return the spiritual grass to the Mo family now, she has no chance. He Lingxi whimpered in grievance and finally came out of the Medicine King's codex, but she died before she could enjoy it for a few days. After 5,000 years of loneliness, she never thought she would end her life in such a hasty way. It's all your fault, Lu Chen, for insisting on signing a damn soul contract with me. If you die, you will die. You are also dragging me down, He Lingxi, you idiot, you are so noisy. I haven't killed you yet, why are you crying? You are the idiot. Hey, Lu Chen, you finally woke up. He Lingxi was stunned for a moment and confirmed in surprise. You just want me to die, right? Under He Lingxi's surprised eyes, the injuries on the surface of Lu Chen's body began to heal, and the true energy in his body began to flow. How is this possible? It's fake. He Lingxi murmured to herself in surprise. Although Lu Chen was perverted enough, she still didn't want to believe it when she saw this scene with her own eyes. Compared to He Lingxi's trembling, Lu Chen was very calm, and he was indeed right in his bet. Before entering the realm of the Holy Ruins, he had taken a healing pill and a pill that replenished his true energy. But because time was too short, Lu Chen had no time to refine it in the Mo family's thundering prison-breaking formation. In the end, Lu Chen had no choice but to make a desperate decision and enter the realm of the Holy Ruins to gain himself a short half-hour to refine the 2 pills in his body. Of course, there is a huge risk in doing so. If he is discovered by a monster, he will become a delicacy for the monster. But he still made the right bet. The monster didn't seem to notice him. Just when Lu Chen thought he was safe, the earth trembled violently, and a violent roar came from above the canyon. The roar was deafening, and his soul briefly trembled. Listening to this strange roar, it seemed that it was a big guy. Lu Chen endured the severe pain in his body and struggled to sit up in the rubble. He stared at He Lingxi and asked, "What happened? Is it a monster?" He Lingxi said in panic, "Lu Chen, let's run quickly. There is a 9th-level ancient monster giant demon ape above us. That beautiful white-haired woman helped us hold it down. You'd better run quickly." A trace of suspicion flashed in Lu Chen's eyes. White woman? In his impression, only the Valkyrie Long Bayou's hair showed a bright silver color, but how could it be her? Besides, Long Bayou has already left the Holy Ruins. But who else has silver hair? A flash of suspicion flashed in Lu Chen's pupils, and he asked in a solemn voice, "He Lingxi, do you mean that it is the silver-haired woman who has been protecting me?" "Yes, she obviously escaped from the Holy Ruins at the last moment, but because of you she came back again and saved you from 2 9th-level monsters. Although she doesn't know why, she is really amazing," He Lingxi said with gratitude from the bottom of his heart. Lu Chen was completely sure that the person who rescued him was Long Bayou. That guy who had no interest in anything, and whose cold eyes were as cold as a 1,000-year-old cold pool, without any emotion, actually risked his life to save him. This made Lu Chen a little confused. What was Long Bayou's purpose in doing this? Could it be that she was also doing it for the secret of her transformation into a dragon? Apart from this, Lu Chen couldn't think of any other possibilities. It's impossible for Long Bayou to save him for no reason. Based on Lu Chen's understanding of Long Bayou can never be the kind of woman who likes to meddle in other people's business. She must have some other purpose. However, you are willing to be trapped in the Holy Ruins with him for the sake of your own secrets. I have to say, Long Bayou, your brain is really cramped. He Lingxi reminded again. Lu Chen, are you listening to me? Since you are not dead, run away quickly. I am still young and I don't want to die. Lu Chen rolled his eyes at He Lingxi. Young? I'm afraid you have some misunderstanding about youth. A guy who has lived for more than 5,000 years actually said that he is young and has not lived enough. He Lingxi, you are a little too funny. No wonder the King of Medicine created the Medicine King's Codex. It was just for you. This greedy thing prepared. Lu Chen raised his eyes and looked at the dim sky above the valley. There was a vague outline towering into the clouds. It should be the 9th-level monster giant demon ape mentioned by He Lingxi, right? Lu Chen quickly transferred the zhenqi in his body to speed up the recovery of his injuries. Although he didn't know what Long Bayou wanted, since Long Bayou risked his life to save him, he could never just watch Long Bayou die in front of the giant demon ape, in hand. Lu Chen then thought about it again. No, he is a villain? How can a villain save the girl of destiny? Otherwise, I'd better listen to He Lingxi and run away quickly. A stream of light flashed across the dim sky from Lu Chen's eyes. Long Bayou was hit by the violent power of the giant demon ape, and his exquisite body floated in the air like catkins blowing in the wind. In the valley, Lu Chen's eyes slowly closed, and then they opened suddenly as if he had made great determination. For him, Long Bayou was definitely an extremely powerful helper. He really couldn't guarantee that he could survive in the Holy Land on his own. Survive in the ruins. Then I thought about it, since Long Bayou dared to enter the Holy Ruins, maybe she had some way to get out from here. Lu Chen stood up slowly under He Lingxi's gaze. The injuries he sustained in the Thunder prison-breaking formation were almost healed. Phoenix Emperor Flame burned behind Lu Chen. The Phoenix Emperor flame burned fiercely, and he turned into a stream of light and flew towards Long Bayou's falling body. Long Bayou was completely powerless, and his glass-like spiritual eyes were full of unwillingness and despair, and he whispered, "Why? Why don't you let me go?" She didn't understand what the reason and purpose of this giant demon ape was. It chased her for 3 whole hours. It was simply unreasonable. At this moment, Long Bayou had already lost all thoughts in her heart. The leuan sword that had unlocked the seal was devouring the true energy in her body. Now she could no longer gather any true energy and could only let her body fall. She lost everything. In Shiji's clear eyes, the huge palm of the giant demon ape moved down to cover her body. Long Bayou slowly closed his eyes, silently waiting for death to come. Finally, "Can we be freed?" "But, Long Chen, I haven't had time to kill you yet, I'm really unwilling." Instead of waiting for the severe pain of her body being crushed to pieces, a warm and comfortable temperature came from behind her. Long Bayou's falling body seemed to have landed on something. She opened her eyes inexplicably and reflected what caught his eye was Lu Chen's familiar profile face. Her eyes were stunned for 2 seconds, and she muttered something she wanted to say, but she didn't know how to say it. Long Bayou's body was cold, as if she had fallen into an ice cave. Her arms were as soft as her body. Holding her in her arms, she felt as light as nothing. Lu Chen held Long Bayou through the layers of darkness. 2 figures were on the mountains in the distance. Lu Chen gently put down Long Bayou, whose skirt was broken. He looked at Long Bayou's soft blue hair, thoughtfully. He secretly thought, this giant demon ape can actually force Long Bayou to unlock the seal of Leuan sword. It seems to be a troublesome problem. The hint of snow white on Long Bayou's chest also came into Lu Chen's eyes. Lu Chen awkwardly raised his eyes and said without squinting, "You stay here for a while, I will solve it." Long Bayou looked at Lu Chen standing in the sky in the distance. Her eyes were vague and she reminded weakly, "Lu Chen, you are no match for it, run." Lu Chen didn't look back, not only because he was afraid that Long Bayou would find out the clues, but also because of the difficulty of the giant demon ape. If he doesn't kill it, Lu Chen will never have peace. And with Long Bayou's temperament as cold as frost, if she knew what she saw, she would definitely draw out the Leuan sword and kill him without hesitation. As expected, Long Bayou lowered his eyes and fell on her chest. A blush appeared on her cold face, which was like frost. She clenched her fist slightly in shame and anger to cover her body, so that the snow white and exquisiteness would not be exposed. But I don't know how to express the shame in my heart at this moment. Seeing that Long Bayou was rescued, the roar of the giant demon ape resounded throughout the world. The violent roar not only made the monsters tremble, but also attracted the ancient monsters in the realm of the holy ruins. It seems that we must fight quickly. If it attracts powerful monsters, it will be troublesome. Lu Chen flapped his wings and soared in the sky. He stared at the angry giant ape with stern eyes, and said in a low voice with breathless concentration, "Funju dancing in the sky." The fire phoenix burning with the flames of the Phoenix Emperor flapped its wings and danced. The moment the fire phoenix appeared, the heaven and earth rioted, and the stagnant airflow began to flow again. Every time the fire phoenix flapped its flame wings, the phoenix flames fluttered off from the flame wings. It fell down and exploded on the surface of the giant ape's body. The giant ape is also an ancient monster. Faced with the provocation of the phoenix, it jumped up angrily and hit Lu Chen and the phoenix behind him with its giant fist. However, the smelly black blood on its broken arm could not be stopped. Live well. At this moment, the giant demon ape has experienced the consumption of Jushin Minkyu and Long Bayou, and its physical strength is almost reaching its limit. What's more, blood is still pouring out from its wounds, and it can't hold on for long. Lu Chen looked down at the 9th-level monster giant demon ape like a god, with a sneer on his lips. Lu Chen slowly raised his arm and said without any trembling in his eyes, "How dare a mere monster be so arrogant?" The dragon and the phoenix are striking. As Lu Chen's divine voice spread, 2 terrifying figures emerged from behind him. The sounds of dragons and phoenixes roared through the dim space and fell into the ears of the giant demon ape. The real dragons and phoenixes were from ancient times. The ancient monster's status among monsters is self-evident. Even if they have been extinct for thousands of years, the suppression from their bloodline will not change. The scarlet eyes of the giant ape trembled slightly. It actually felt fear from the 2 shadows, but he did not flinch. It is the overlord of this darkness, and no one can despise its majesty. Roar! The giant demon ape roared, and a bright beam of light erupted from its bloody mouth. Although the beam of light was much weaker than when it faced Long Bayou just now, it was still a full blow from the 9th-level monster. The dragon and phoenix phantoms swooped away, and the two powerful forces bombarded each other. A harsh roar echoed in the air, as if the empty space was distorted by these two forces. In the diffuse smoke, a dirty giant hand grabbed Lu Chen's body from under his body. Lu Chen's face was expressionless, and the seal in his palm changed. His right fist was filled with the majestic Phoenix Emperor flame, and he roared. The body swooped towards the palm of the giant ape. The collision of fists and palms made Lu Chen look extremely small in front of the 100-foot-tall giant demon ape, but his strength was by no means inferior to that of the giant demon ape. Just before Lu Chen's fist collided with the giant demon ape's palm, for an instant, a playful smile appeared on Lu Chen's lips. In the trembling pupils of the giant ape, the Phoenix Emperor's flames wrapped around its arms. In just one breath, the Emperor's fire swarmed in and enveloped the giant ape's entire body. The Phoenix Emperor's flames followed the giant ape's. The ape's severed arm rushed into its body, and the fierce burning sensation made the giant demon ape roar violently. It retracted its giant fist in pain, and its huge body fell from the sky. The ground shook violently, and smoke and dust rose wantonly. As the thick smoke dissipated, a huge pit tens of meters deep in the ground appeared in front of Lu Chen's eyes. The ground was like a huge spider web, and the giant demon ape was like a restrained prey, unable to move. The scarlet eyes of the giant demon ape were filled with the Emperor's flame. The Emperor's flame burned the stinking blood, and the air was filled with burning and unspeakable stench. No matter how hard the giant demon ape struggled, it was of no avail. It rolled back and forth in the giant pit, trying to extinguish the Phoenix Emperor flame. As the most domineering flame in the world, the Phoenix flame has evolved into the more domineering and everlasting Phoenix Emperor flame under the tempering of the Emperor flame. How can it be extinguished by the giant demon ape? The broken arm was undoubtedly the best breakthrough point for this giant demon ape. The giant demon ape let out a last gasping roar. It fell into the Emperor's flames and watched as its arm was burned bit by bit and turned into ashes. Lu Chen flapped his phoenix flame wings and slowly fell into the Emperor's flames. He took out the Xuanyuan sword out of thin air, and the majestic sword energy whizzed past, and the golden light filled the deep and dim space. The giant demon ape's hard body was directly split into two halves, and in the burning Emperor's flame, a piece of a scarlet demon pill sparkled, exuding a rich and majestic aura of true energy. That is the demon elixir of a giant demon ape, a demon elixir of a 9th-level demon beast. Lu Chen stretched out his arm, and the scarlet demon pill fell into Lu Chen's palm. The corners of Lu Chen's mouth couldn't help but curve. It really took no effort at all. If he successfully refines the elixir of a 9th-level monster, Lu Chen will not have any unexpected breakthroughs to reach the peak of demigods. Lu Chen put the demon pill into the system space. It has to be said that this giant demon ape is very strong, but it was almost consumed by Long Bayou and Jushin Minkyu. Otherwise Lu Chen would not be its opponent. Lu Chen exhaled softly, and Long Bayou's fragrant body, as white as jade, appeared in his mind. Long Bayou should have noticed it, right? Lu Chen murmured to himself. If Long Bayou asks, he won't be able to admit it even if he is beaten to death. Yes, that's it. Lu Chen looked in the direction of Long Bayou and flew towards her. Since Long Bayou dares to enter the holy ruins, she will definitely have a way out of here, Lu Chen thought. Long Bayou had put on a brand new white dress, and her green hair had returned to silver. Her pale face was as indifferent as before, and she didn't ask if Lu Chen had seen anything, maybe because she didn't want to lose her face. Apart from being stained with dust, Long Bayou's pink face was so delicate that no flaws could be found. Her beautiful eyes looked at Lu Chen in disbelief, and she frowned and asked in a deep voice, "Why are all your injuries suddenly healed?" Lu Chen quickly changed the subject and said, "It's better to leave here quickly. There must be many ancient monsters in the holy ruins that come smelling the smell of blood." Long Bayou murmured, but stopped talking. Now she was completely depleted and the energy in her body had long been exhausted, but it was hard for her to let Lu Chen hold her and leave. Lu Chen seemed to sense Long Bayou's hesitation. He stepped forward and picked up Long Bayou and said, "Let me take you away first. I know there is a place that is relatively safe. We can stay there for a while." Lu Chen didn't give Long Bayou any chance to resist and picked her up again, turning into a fiery red stream of light and disappearing into the dim sky. There is a cave among the mountains and valleys. This cave was discovered by Lu Chen on the first day he entered the holy ruins. As long as the entrance of the cave is sealed, no monsters will be able to find him hiding here for a lifetime. A bonfire was lit in the not-so-wide cave. It was lit by Lu Chen's Phoenix Emperor Flame. However, in order to prevent the Phoenix Emperor Flame from harming Long Bayou, he only used a small amount of his true energy to avoid harming the dragon. Under the premise of Bayou, it can provide her with warmth and prevent her body from losing temperature. At first, Lu Chen planned to give Long Bayou a healing pill, but after a second thought, he gave up the idea. Before he understood Long Bayou's purpose, he would not reveal any of his secrets. Seeing that Long Bayou's complexion began to improve, Lu Chen stared intently and asked, "Long Bayou, I think you should have a way to get out of the holy ruins, right?" Long Bayou frowned slightly, and her cold and light voice echoed in the silent cave. "Sorry, I don't know." Lu Chen raised his eyebrows in surprise and confirmed, "What did you say? You do not know? If you can't get out of here, why did you come in?" Long Bayou nodded slightly, lips parted softly and said, "I don't know why, but my brain shut down for a moment. Maybe it's because I want to save you." Lu Chen's body trembled violently, "What the hell?" But Long Bayou's eyes didn't dodge at all. She stared quietly at Lu Chen's eyes, which were pure and without any impurities. Lu Chen touched his nose and didn't know what to say. At this moment, He Lingxi ran out of the Medicine King's codex and said, "Lu Chen, you really should thank her. If she hadn't delayed for you, you would have become a delicacy for the giant demon ape." "He Lingxi, you can go and stay wherever it's cool. Don't bother me," Lu Chen said in disgust. "Now that you are annoyed with me, I don't know which bastard threatened me to sign the soul contract in the first place. If it weren't for the fact that the soul contract couldn't be cancelled, I would really want to break up with you." He Lingxi proudly held up her small breasts, with a face full of determination. The corners of Lu Chen's mouth twitched slightly. It would be nice if He Lingxi was mute. Long Bayou's clear ice eyes stared closely at He Lingxi's little spirit body. He Lingxi's exquisite face was like a porcelain doll. Even she couldn't help but take a second look, but because of He Lingxi, it's just that the Tao spirit body can't completely see her appearance. He Lingxi crossed her arms and said, "Anyway, thank you. My name is He Lingxi." Long Bayou said bluntly, "You're welcome. I just wanted to save Lu Chen and didn't know you existed." "Damn. What do you mean? Do you think this girl needs your rescue?" "Humph. I forgot to tell you that this girl is the daughter of the Medicine King. Even without your monsters, they wouldn't dare do anything to this girl." Long Bayou's words made He Lingxi a little angry. She pointed at Long Bayou's nose and argued. Long Bayou didn't know what she said wrong. She quietly looked at the angry He Lingxi without saying another word. Lu Chen was so disturbed by the noise that he said, "He Lingxi, please return your Medicine King's code to me. If you dare to come out with me, don't ask for next month's blood essence." "HMPH, Lu Chen, do you think this girl cares about your blood?" Although He Lingxi said it was not a surprise, she still obediently returned to the Medicine King's code. She is not a fool. In today's era, the essence and blood of dragons and phoenixes are hard to come by. If possible, she really wanted to drain the dragon and phoenix blood from Lu Chen's body. But Lu Chen, this idiot, was always on guard against her, even giving her only 2 drops of blood essence each time. How stingy. Lu Chen took a breath and said, "The world is clean again." "Long Bayou, do you really have no way to get out of the holy ruins? Are we really going to be locked up here for 100 years? Lu Chen was a little unwilling. If he was really trapped in the realm of the holy ruins for 100 years, Mo Zian, that loser, might die of old age by then. Lu Chen was still waiting for Mo Zian to witness him massacre the Mo family, the whole process. After Long Bayou was silent for 2 seconds, his red lips moved slightly and said, "I have made it very clear. I don't know the way to get out of the holy ruins. If I knew, I couldn't not tell you." He. Now it's my turn to play my role again. Lu Chen tells you the truth. I know how to get out of the holy ruins. He Lingxi saw that Lu Chen and Long Bayou were helpless, so she returned from the Medicine King's codexes out. Lu Chen frowned slightly and said, "Oh, let's talk about it." "Humph, please beg me," He Lingxi said arrogantly. "If you don't tell me, get out and live alone in the holy ruins with me. When you refine all the spiritual herbs you stole from the Mo family, don't ask me to help you find it. Lu Chen didn't tolerate her at all. Said angrily directly. What time of day it was now, and He Lingxi still dared to make fun of him. He Lingxi's exquisite and beautiful eyes stared at Lu Chen resentfully, and she was so angry that her whole body trembled. She originally wanted to use this news to make a deal with Lu Chen and ask Lu Chen to give her 2 drops of dragon and phoenix essence blood. Who knew that this guy would be so ignorant that he directly attacked her? Give me 2 drops of dragon and phoenix essence blood, and I will tell you with great mercy, He Lingxi said unwillingly. Don't want a drop of it, just 1 drop, it's better than nothing. Lu Chen, you bastard, you can't bear to give even 1 drop to me. He Lingxi sobbed heartbrokenly. Lu Chen didn't know when he started to feel more and more bored with He Lingxi. He loses control at critical moments and likes to make sarcastic remarks. Now even he began to regret signing a soul contract with He Lingxi. His brain was really cramped at that time. This guy can't give himself anything, and he always wants to take advantage of himself. Long Bayou listened quietly to the quarrel between the 2 of them. She blinked and said with her eyes looking thoughtful for a long time. Lu Chen. Were you responsible for the theft of the Mo family's spiritual grass? Lu Chen nodded and then shook his head, saying disdainfully, to be precise, it's not me, but this idiot He Lingxi. In order to prevent the spirit body from dissipating, she stole all the spiritual herbs in the Mo family Bayou pavilion and provoked I am now being hunted by the Mo family. How dare you slander me? If it weren't for me, you would have destroyed the Mo family's spiritual herbs. I just didn't want to waste those spiritual herbs, so I had to include them in the Medicine King's dictionary. Lu Chen frowned, and what he said sounded better than what he sang. Lu Chen didn't instigate He Lingxi when he was in the Mo family's Bayou pavilion. This guy ran out of the Medicine King's Dian and emptied the Mo family's Lingkao pavilion. Now he has become the culprit. Long Bayou frowned slightly when he heard this, and nodded slightly. Perhaps this was the only reason. The Mo family did not hesitate to use the thunder prison breaking formation to trap Lu Chen. Such a huge price could only be because of this. Long Bayou stared at He Lingxi and asked, since you know the way to get out of the holy ruins, why don't you tell us that every second here is a danger? He Lingxi, you don't want to is your spirit body dissipating here? Seeing that Long Bayou had given him the chance to step down, He Lingxi slowly said, this is what you asked me for, so I will tell you with great mercy. The realm of the holy ruins is a special space left by Grandpa Xuanyuan and the others in order to seal the barbarian ancestors. There are only 2 ways to get out from here. One is to wait for 100 years, and the realm of the holy ruins will be reopened by the Nanshuang Empire. Another way is that your power is strong enough to break the seal of the holy ruins realm and the stone gate. He Lingxi, you can get away as far as you want. It's best not to let me see you again, otherwise I might not be able to help but kill you. Lu Chen said angrily, suppressing the anger in his heart. Why does He Lingxi like to talk nonsense? HMPH, I won't lie to you. Only by destroying the seal of the stone gate can we get out of here early. He Lingxi's exquisite eyes narrowed slightly and she said extremely seriously. But in Lu Chen's opinion, what He Lingxi said was indeed complete nonsense. Destroying the seal of the holy ruins realm requires at least the peak strength of a martial god, right? And he is only in the late stage of demigod. Even if he refined the demon elixir of the giant demon ape to support him in the early stage of martial god, the seal of the Saint Ruins realm was set by dozens of powerful martial gods 5,000 years ago. With his power, how can it be shaken? He Lingxi said seriously. Lu Chen, maybe Long Bayou can't do it, but you definitely have the possibility of destroying the seal. Don't forget that you have Grandpa Xuanyuan's Dragon Guard in your hands. If their strength returns to the 7th grade martial emperor, it's not impossible for you to gather their fighting spirit again. Lu Chen said blankly. 7th grade martial emperor. Are the spiritual herbs in the Medicine King's code enough to restore the divine Dragon Guard to a 7th grade martial emperor? After He Lingxi was silent for 2 seconds, he raised his eyes and confirmed, theoretically enough, but it will take at least half a year to refine all the Shenlong guards. So we have to spend this time here. Half a year. Isn't too long. Long Bayou was a little confused. Shenlongwei. Always felt like she had seen it before. She seemed to have seen it in a certain classic. But it had been a long time, and Long Bayou couldn't recall it for a while. It's just that she inexplicably connected Grandpa Xuanyuan in He Lingxi's mouth with the legendary Emperor Xuanyuan. So Lu Chen, You must hurry up and break through the martial god within half a year. It is not an easy task to gather the fighting spirit of the entire Shenlong Guard. With your current strength, if it weren't for the Xuanyuan sword, the Shenlong Guard's strong spirit, the will is enough to shatter your soul. Lu Chen lazily rubbed his messy hair, stood up slowly, patted the dust on his legs and feet, and said with concentration, "You can rest assured on this, half a year is enough for me to break through to the martial god, or even to the mid-level martial god. It's not impossible." Lu Chen is definitely not exaggerating. He has the 9th level demon elixir of the giant demon ape, which is enough for him to break through the martial god. Moreover, there are not only the giant demon ape and a 9th level demon beast in the holy ruins, but there is also a 9th level demon in the flame prison. The hell python in the heart of the beast. They will all become the key for Lu Chen to break through the martial god. What moved Lu Chen's heart the most was the firebird that looked like a phoenix. The giant bird bathed in flames just before he fell into coma. If it was really a phoenix, it might be able to help Lu Chen awaken the purest phoenix. God's bloodline. Long Bayou's eyes trembled. She remembered that when they first met, Lu Chen's strength was only a 6th grade martial saint. In less than a year, he had already become a powerful demigod. She was very curious about Lu Chen. Exactly how? But Long Bayou didn't ask Lu Chen. Everyone has their own secrets, just like her. Long Bayou's snowy face showed a faint pale color, and her loose silver hair was stuck to her pretty face. After Lu Chen stood there in silence for a long time, he exchanged a healing elixir from the system space. Current destiny value: 320,000. No, a healing elixir. Although Long Bayou was extremely weak, she refused very coldly. "I have the healing elixir myself, I don't need you to give it to me." Long Bayou didn't lie, she did have the healing elixir. However, her current condition is not suitable for taking high-level refining elixirs. She needs to rest for a while first. The most important thing is that Long Bayou doesn't want to owe Lu Chen any favors, and they have already made peace with each other. The corners of Lu Chen's lips also twitched slightly. Why are he Lingxi and Long Bayou so arrogant? Who on earth spoiled you like this? Under the cold gaze of Long Bayou, Lu Chen walked towards Long Bayou. With his left hand, he lifted Long Bayou's chin and pinched her white lips into a round shape. He couldn't help but say he threw the healing elixir into Long Bayou's mouth. "Here it is, take it. If I don't give it to you, I won't give it to you even if you ask for it." Long Bayou frowned slightly and stared at Lu Chen with cold eyes and resentment. She kept coughing lightly, but the healing pill had already passed through her throat and entered her belly. It was as if Long Bayou wanted to say at that moment, a strong medicinal power filled her body. In her shocked eyes, the blood marks on Wu Sha's palm began to heal, the pain deep in the bone marrow, and the feeling of weakness all over her body began to gradually dissipate. Long Bayou gradually calmed down the surprise in his heart, and said in a calm voice, "I owe you another favor, but I will pay it back to you." Lu Chen really didn't know what kind of weird brain circuit Long Bayou had. He was almost dying, and he still cared about whether he owed a favor, but this was also in line with Lu Chen's stereotype of Long Bayou. The cold wind howled outside the cave, and a black figure in the dim and silent space was looking for something in panic, holding an unconscious woman in his arms. "Where did you go? I clearly saw them coming this way. Damn it, Meower, you must hold on, brother will never let anything happen to you." The man in black had a dirty stubble on his face and carried a bloody broad knife on his back. In his arms lay an unconscious woman, with a shocking blood mark on the woman's face. The blood stain seemed to be caused by being scratched by the monster's claws during the fight with the monster. The girl's face was paler than Long Bayou's, and the subtle breath between her nostrils was about to dissipate. Behind the two brothers and sisters, hundreds of ugly and weird-looking abyssal beasts were chasing after them. Their scarlet bloody eyes shone like bright lights from hell, making people feel strong fear. The two brothers and sister were trapped in the holy ruins just like Lu Chen. When Lu Chen passed over their heads just now, the man in black chased after him for the slim hope. Of course, Lu and Chen are definitely not the only ones trapped here in the holy ruins. Many unlucky people will miss the time to leave the holy ruins due to various reasons. Their final outcome is nothing more than becoming a satiating meal for monsters, and there is no other outcome possible. In the not-so-large cave, Long Bayou frowned slightly and said, "It seems that someone has come here." Lu Chen sneered indifferently and said, "I won't trust anyone easily here. Even if it's you, Long Bayou, I'll still be wary of you. let alone two warriors I've never met before. Let's just say let them fend for themselves in this holy ruins. Long Bayou nodded slightly and deeply agreed with what Lu Chen said. Then Lu Chen raised his palm and extinguished the blazing Phoenix Emperor flame in the cave. The moment the Phoenix Emperor flame disappeared, a sense of boundless desolation and death surged up. The entire cave seemed to be plunged into never-ending darkness, completely cut off from the outside world. Lu Chen and Long Bayou are both people who hate trouble. They don't want to have anything to do with the warriors outside the cave, because they don't need to be a burden. Following the warrior aura of unknown origin, the figure of He Yuan beast completely disappeared. Lu Chen used the Phoenix Emperor flame to light up the cave again. He stared at Long Bayou with his deep eyes and asked, Long Bayou, what are your plans next? First of all, let me tell you, I can't guarantee that I will be able to bring the holy ruins to the holy ruins. The seal is broken. Maybe we really have to wait 100 years for the holy ruins to be reopened. Since I dare to enter the realm of the holy ruins, I have naturally considered these things, but you can rest assured about my strength. I will not be weak enough to drag you down. Lu Chen frowned slightly. He certainly didn't mean that. As the most evil Valkyrie in the ancient martial arts world, how could Long Bayou become a burden to him? Lu Chen really just wanted to know Long Bayou's next plan, and had no other ideas other than that. Seeing that Long Bayou didn't speak, he rubbed his messy black hair and said, Next, I will refine the giant demon ape's demon elixir here. If you don't plan to leave me here alone, please help me, stay here. Long Bayou's cold eyes flashed slightly, and he nodded his head and agreed simply, Okay. Lu Chen took out the scarlet demon elixir from the giant demon ape. The scarlet color was more brilliant than the Phoenix Emperor flame. The light even covered up the Phoenix flame for a time. Then, Lu Chen closed his dark eyes. Seeing Lu Chen closing his eyes so simply, the corners of Long Bayou's lips turned up an imperceptible arc, and she seemed to be smiling. He had obviously said that he would not trust anyone, but yet he was refining the demon elixir of the giant demon ape in front of him. Then Long Bayou stood up slowly. With the help of the magical elixir, Long Bayou's injuries were almost healed. Under He Lingxi's gaze, 2 streaks of water floated out from Long Bayou's palm. The crystal white seal formed in formation in the cave. Within this formation, Lu Chen's aura would never be exposed. Then Long Bayou was about to leave with Liu Yan's sword in hand. He Lingxi couldn't help but ask aloud, Long Bayou, where are you going? You promised Lu Chen to stay here with him. Long Bayou replied calmly, Don't worry, I will never break my promise to him. I just wanted to find a place to clean myself when I left. After Long Bayou left, the cave became eerily quiet, and the realm of the holy ruins also ushered in its darkest moment. Countless abyssal beasts began to slaughter human warriors crazily. They had no purpose and no distinction. No human could escape from their claws. A massacre quietly unfolded in the realm of the holy ruins. There is an ancient black giant tower in the holy ruins. The appearance of this black tower is exactly the same as the previous demon sealing tower that sealed Kai Shao. The dark tower body is filled with the ancient atmosphere of nothingness, and the tower body is surrounded by a deep spirit. With the power of the abyss, demonic shadows appeared above the black tower. The ferocious appearance made people's scalp numb and dare not look directly, as if just one glance would completely sink them into the abyss. In addition to the demon sealing tower that sealed Kai Shao, there were 2 other demon sealing towers in the holy ruins. The 3 demon sealing towers sealed the 3 strongest generals under the barbarian ancestor respectively. At this moment, cracks appeared faintly on the surface of the demon sealing tower. It seemed that the demon sealing tower was about to be unable to suppress these ancient gods and demons. Otherwise those abyssal beasts would not have appeared outside the demon sealing tower. Demonic voices lingered in the ancient pagoda. Kai Li. Our opportunity has come. When the abyssal beasts slaughter all the humans in the holy ruins and sacrifice their essence and blood, I can break free from the confinement of the demon sealing tower and be free from now on. Skeleton King. I have also made contact with the juniors. After a while, they will find the demon sealing tower and unlock the seal for me. By then, the humans and monsters will die. HMPH, if it weren't for that idiot Kai Shao, who didn't know why he died in the hands of a despicable human being, I would have broken free from the confinement of the demon sealing tower. The moment before the demon soul dissipated, he would have killed his boy. Project it to me and let me avenge him. Haha, the idiot is extremely stupid. By the way, Kai Li, Lord Barbarian Ancestor is sealed in the Chaos Bell. I'm afraid it won't be that easy to break the seal of Xuanyuan and the others. Don't worry about this. The junior who got in touch with me told me that there are wizards in the barbarian tribe who have found a way to break it. As long as I leave the demon sealing tower, I can break the seal of Lord Barbarian Ancestor. In the two distant demon sealing towers, two ancient demon souls communicated in a strange way, plotting a shocking conspiracy. The seal in the demon sealing tower is getting weaker and weaker, and it is only a matter of time before the two demon gods break free from the demon sealing tower. However, no one among the warriors trapped in the holy ruins knew what kind of plan the barbarians were plotting. They were transformed into blood food under the claws of the abyssal beast and became the power of the two demon gods after they were resurrected. Skeleton King, wait a moment. I seem to have an uninvited guest here. As Kai Li's faint demonic voice fell, the black light that filled the demon sealing tower dissipated and returned to silence. Kai Li has not yet unlocked the seal, and she is a little worried that it was sent by the human warrior god to stabilize the seal of the demon sealing tower. Although no one has come to stabilize the seal of the demon sealing tower for more than 3,000 years, her worries are by no means unnecessary. It is all because that idiot Kai Xiao lost his temper and left the demon sealing tower one step ahead. If the human warriors notice something, it is not impossible to send someone to re-stabilize the seal of the demon sealing tower. Not only is there no hope of resurrecting the barbarian ancestors, but they themselves will be exhausted from being suppressed here for too long. The Skeleton King wanted to ask what was going on, but Kai Li had cut off contact with him, which made the Skeleton King confused. What happened to make Kai Li so cautious? The Skeleton King couldn't help but become worried. The more critical moments came. Bad news came one after another. Could it be that the human race really noticed something? Outside the ancient demon sealing tower, a fire phoenix burning with pure phoenix flame slowly descended. The phoenix bathed in the phoenix flame turned into a human figure. The woman was wearing a red dress, with moon eyebrows and starry eyes. With plain teeth and red lips, she looks like an immortal from heaven who does not eat fireworks on earth. The owner of this exquisite figure that appeared in front of the demon sealing tower is none other than Funju. At first, Funju was indeed dead. She couldn't die anymore. Even her body was shattered into ice slag on the ground. However, her body actually contained Phoenix's essence and blood, which had been passed down from generation to generation of her Feng family. Divine object. Even Funju didn't know why Phoenix's blood essence appeared in his bloodline. But even if she had the Phoenix essence and blood in her body, it would be impossible for her to be resurrected. The rebirth of the Phoenix must be bathed in the blazing flames. When Lu Chen was refining the Emperor Flame Stone Crystal, not a single blade of grass could grow within 1,000 miles. The Phoenix Emperor Flame lasted for 10 days and 10 nights, and it was with this Phoenix Emperor Flame that Funju was born. Nirvana rebirth. It seemed that she had experienced too much, and there was only infinite coldness in Fengju's beautiful eyes. Betrayed by his most trusted friend and killed by his former apprentice, Fengju's heart was already dead. Now he not only wanted revenge on the Long family, but she would not let go of either the Chu family or Lu Chen. But Fengju knew that even if her strength broke through to the middle stage of the martial god stage after her nirvana and rebirth, it was obviously unrealistic to shake the Long family and the Chu family. She would need helpers to help her get revenge. The ancient demon gods sealed in the realm of the holy ruins must be her only choice at this time. She knew the power of the barbarians. After Chu Feng obtained the power of the abyss, his strength broke through several realms. She needed power and the power of revenge, so she turned into a phoenix. These days, she has been looking for the black man like the demon sealing tower. All the hard work paid off, and she was finally found. The moment Fengju raised her slender jade legs and stepped into the demon sealing tower, her eyes were blocked by a dim and void aura. Kai Li didn't want anyone to know her existence, and this person had the blood of the phoenix, which made her heart tremble inexplicably. Could it be that that guy Kai Xiao really made the humans notice something? Fengju stepped into the demon sealing tower. Her eyes were obscured by the strange dust mist. She did not show any panic. Fengju's red lips opened and closed slightly and said, "I have read about demon sealing in ancient books. According to the rumors about the tower, according to ancient books, 3 generals under the ancient gods and demons were sealed in the demon-sealed tower. At first, I thought that this dark ancient tower was just a simple small tower, but the demon soul in the ancient tower stole my life. His apprentice, and the terrifying strength he showed later made me connect this little tower with you barbarians. If I'm not wrong, your spirit has not been broken yet, so you are listening to me, right? Kai Li didn't respond, and her trembling eyes gradually narrowed. Did humans really find out? Then, strange abyssal beasts appeared in the void space one after another. Their roars and roars echoed in the entire dead silent space. Looking at the abyssal beasts biting towards her, Funju had no intention of dodging. Those abyssal beasts burned into ashes instantly after touching the blazing phoenix flames on the surface of her body. Funju frowned slightly and said, I am not here to trouble you. If possible, I am willing to cooperate with the barbarians. I know all the strengths of the major families in the ancient martial arts world, and I also know the strength of the ancient martial arts world. I can tell you everything I know about the whereabouts of the artifact. Kai Li's body deep in the ancient pagoda trembled slightly. Cooperation? She was really surprised that a human proposed to cooperate with the barbarians. You must know that the barbarians were existences that everyone could kill. 5,000 years ago, even fools knew how terrifying the barbarians were, but now this woman in red clothes actually wanted to cooperate with them. She cooperates. The emptiness in the ancient pagoda dimly dissipated, and what appeared in front of Funju's eyes was a stunningly charming face that was enchanting and alluring. Kai Li was wearing a long black dress, which outlined the thrilling curves of her delicate body. On her snow-white neck, there was a dark black shackle, and her whole body was tied like an animal in the demon ceiling tower. Holding her as if the dignity of the barbarians was trampled under their feet. Funju's eyes were briefly dazed. In terms of appearance alone, Kai Li was definitely the most charming woman she had ever seen. Funju had absolute confidence in her appearance, otherwise Song Li would not have been attracted to her. Fascinating. But even in front of Kai Li, she could only feel ashamed. Kai Li's every frown, smile, and every move revealed endless charm and enchantment. Even Funju, a woman, felt a morbid and crazy possessive desire in her heart after seeing Kai Li. With such a charming appearance, if she was. A man saw it and couldn't believe how crazy he could be. Kai Li's hazy watery eyes stared into Funju's eyes. She said calmly, Why should I believe you? Besides, I am sealed in the demon ceiling tower and even getting out is a problem. Our cooperation is destined to be impossible. Kai Li was extremely wary of Funju who suddenly appeared. How should she trust a woman of unknown origin? Funju concentrated slightly and said, I know you must have a way to get out of here. Not long ago, one of your companions used my disciple to possess his soul and got rid of the shackles of the demon ceiling tower. Kai Li looked solemn and said, So, you have seen Kai Xiao? It turns out his name is Kai Xiao. If you are willing, I can sacrifice my body to you and lend it to you to break free from the shackles of the demon ceiling tower. There was no hesitation in Funju's eyes. Decisive and decisive, it seemed that she had already made such a decision. Funju was actually very smart, but she was infinitely biased towards Chu Feng. Even when she vaguely guessed that the withering of the sungrass was caused by Chu Feng, she was still unwilling to believe it, and eventually expelled Lu Chen from the school. Kai Li was frightened by the crazy woman in front of her. This was the first time she had seen someone willing to sacrifice their body. However, Funju's body was not enough to make her heart beat. As long as the blood food was sufficient, she and the Skeleton King could do it. They will condense their own bodies. Therefore, the humans and monsters in the Holy Ruins realm will become the nourishment for their resurrection. But, the woman who came to his door made Kai Li confused for a moment. What had she gone through to make such a choice, even betraying the entire human race and monster race? Kai Li stood up slowly, and the chains on her snow-white jade neck made a crisp clanking sound. The black dress outlined her graceful figure. She seemed to be the most exquisite woman in the world. Kai Li licked her fragrant red lips, and the frivolous magic voice slowly reached Funju's ears. I like women like you. Come here and let me take a good look at you. Funju raised her slender jade legs and walked towards Kai Li. There was no fear in her expression. She knew that this might be her only chance for revenge, and she didn't want to lose it. Funju came straight to Kai Li. Kai Li raised his snow-white wrists and hugged Funju to his chest. His jade hands with clear joints caressed Funju's white and tender snow-white face. A trace of morbid thoughts ignited in Kai Li's demonic eyes, as if he was admiring a perfect object. Kai Li put his head on Funju's fragrant shoulder, greedily sucking the fragrance emanating from Funju's body. The refreshing fragrance, She opened her small mouth and gently bit Funju's neck. After a long time, Kai Li let go of her white teeth and left a shallow bite mark on Funju's neck. She licked her lips with nostalgia and said, "From now on, you are my person. I will help you get revenge." The moment Kai Li was about to bite Funju, all the memories in her mind had been read, and she only knew everything that happened to Kai Xiao. Xuanyuan's sword is an interesting guy, Lu Chen. Under the gaze of Kai Li's demonic eyes, Funju's clear water eyes as clear as a cold pool began to reveal a touch of abyssal black aura, which was the power of the abyss that belonged exclusively to barbarians. From this moment on, Funju, who has been reborn from nirvana, has completely degenerated into a barbarian. She will never be tolerated by the world again. Outside the realm of the holy ruins, Ji Shuang was still waiting at the foot of the stone gate. His expression was dazed and his eyes were a little unfocused. It seemed that he was still waiting for Long Bayou to come out of the realm of the holy ruins. "Senior Qian Emperor, is there really no way to open the holy ruins?" Ji Shuang said, unwilling to give up. The Qian Emperor in the Soul Sea sighed softly and said, "Ji Shuang, in just 3 days, you have asked me this question no less than 10 times. I don't know what to say to make you believe." Ji Shuang slowly clenched his hands, and his slightly sharp nails dug deeply into his palms. His teeth were chattering. After a long time, Ji Shuang showed a smile that was uglier than crying and said, "Why is this happening? Why on earth does Sister Fairy want to come back? In the realm of the holy ruins, what is the relationship between you and her, Lu Chen, so that Sister Fairy can save her with her life?" Ji Shuang really couldn't figure it out. It was impossible to say that there was no relationship between Lu Chen and Long Bayou. It is rumored that the Valkyrie Long Bayou is as indifferent as Frost, and as indifferent to everyone. However, a person like Long Bayou who has no interest in anything would actually do it to save his life. Lu Chen was trapped in the realm of the holy ruins, and her purpose was difficult for Ji Shuang to understand. After a long time, Ji Shuang finally turned around and left in despair. Emperor Qian told him that after the realm of the holy ruins, the ancient monsters hiding in the depths of darkness began to appear, and even a strong man at the level of a god of war would find it difficult to survive in it. It can be said that from the moment Long Bayou re-entered the realm of the holy ruins, her ending was doomed. Maybe, Sister Fairy, the encounter between you and me is destined to be an encounter that shouldn't exist. Fairy sister, I can't wait for you here forever. I still have a mission to complete. Time passed quickly, and a full month had passed since Lu Chen was trapped among the holy ruins. In the still bright cave, as the scarlet color of the giant ape demon pill gradually dimmed, the true energy in the demon elixir continued to flow into Lu Chen's body, and the true energy in his body became more majestic and vast. Lu Chen's eyes as deep as the abyss finally opened, and he breathed out a soft breath and said, "A 9th-level giant demon ape's demon elixir allowed me to break through from the late stage of demigod to the peak of demigod. The giant demon ape is also a 9th-level monster, isn't it too inferior?" After Lu Chen regained consciousness, He Lingxi appeared in front of Lu Chen and said, "Are you not satisfied with breaking through to the peak of demigods? You have the blood of dragon and phoenix. Both the physical strength and the vastness of the soul sea in your body are far beyond the capabilities of ordinary people. Comparable, so if you want to break through the realm, you must spend more than ordinary people." Lu Chen paused slightly thoughtfully. What He Lingxi said seemed to make sense. "By the way, where is Long Bayou?" Lu Chen stood up and searched around the cave. He still didn't see Long Bayou's figure, so he subconsciously asked. He Lingxi frowned slightly, and did not answer Lu Chen's question. Instead, she said uneasily, "Lu Chen, you don't know what happened during this period. The abyssal beasts sealed in the demon sealing tower turned out to be bizarre. He ran out, and now the entire Holy Ruins realm is full of abyssal beasts. This girl is a little worried. This is a sign that the seal of the barbarian ancestor is loosened." Lu Chen acted indifferently. He rubbed his head lazily and thought to himself, what does the loosening of the barbarian ancestor's seal have to do with him? However, this is indeed a bit strange. The abyssal beast is imprisoned in the demon sealing tower like Kai Xiao and the ancient gods and demons. Logically speaking, it is impossible to escape from it, unless the seal of the demon sealing tower is greatly loosened. It seems that the time for the other two ancient gods and demons to be resurrected is not far away. Lu Chen, are you listening to what I'm saying? Do you know what this means? Seeing Lu Chen's indifferent expression, He Lingxi couldn't help but ask. Lu Chen was unmoved and said, I don't know, I don't want to know either. You are simply unreasonable. This girl is really angry to death. In Lu Chen's eyes, Manzu was not a heinous person. Those ancient classics treasured in various families in the Nanshuang Empire thoroughly describe the barbarian ancestor as a heinous demon who launched the Holy Ruins War in order to unify the world and slaughtered the human race and monster race without leaving any bones. In fact, it was not the case. Barbarian ancestor was more forced to do so. He had to do that for the sake of his own people. Just when Lu Chen and He Lingxi were arguing, Long Bayou suddenly came back. Have you successfully refined the giant demon ape's elixir? Lu Sheng pondered for a moment and paused slightly. Long Bayou did not show any surprise. She said in a serious voice, Lu Chen, there are many abyssal beasts appearing in the holy ruins. I have only seen brief records of these abyssal beasts in ancient books. They are like you went crazy and attacked humans and monsters indiscriminately within the territory of the holy ruins. I am worried that something unknown has happened within the territory of the holy ruins. Lu Chen frowned slightly and said, Long Bayou, I think you should also know about the existence of the barbarians. If my guess is correct, the barbarians should have taken this opportunity to sneak into the realm of the holy ruins. They are currently just preparing for the upcoming the two resurrected ancient demon gods prepare sacrifices. Ancient demon god. Sacrifice? Lu Chen's words couldn't help but make Long Bayou stare in astonishment. Barbarians have always been a taboo existence in the ancient martial arts world. Many people who know the barbarians also believe that after their defeat in the Battle of the Holy Ruins, they were destroyed by the human race's martial god and the ancient demon. In fact, this is not the case. In order to cause unnecessary panic, after the barbarians were exiled to the wilderness, few people mentioned the existence of the barbarians again. Therefore, in the two major empires today, apart from the ancient books that have been passed down by families for thousands of years, there are also records of such things. Few people know that the barbarians were not exterminated, but were exiled to the legendary taboo place. A barren land. When Long Bayou and Lu Chen met the remnant soul of the ancient dragon god, Lu Chen framed Xu Feng as a barbarian in order to deceive the dragon god's inheritance. She was a little surprised by this. A person in the secular world would actually know about the existence of barbarians. But then I thought about it. Lu Chen had the ancient artifact Xuanyuan sword in his hand. It seemed reasonable for Lu Chen to know. Maybe it was because of the Xuanyuan sword that he knew all this. Now Lu Chen told her that these weird abyssal beasts were preparing sacrifices for the resurrection of the ancient demon god. Long Bayou couldn't help but feel worried. She didn't even have the slightest doubt about Lu Chen. Then Long Bayou told Lu Chen the current situation. During the time when you were refining the giant demon ape demon pill, I learned that most of the warriors who were trapped in the holy ruins like us have gathered in the Purple Mountains. In the Yan Mountains, we will jointly resist the attack of the abyssal beast. Lu Chen frowned and thought deeply. Long Bayou, there is a 9th-level monster in the Xian Mountains, the earth-centered hell python. It is the key to my breakthrough to the martial god, so my next plan is to hunt down this earth-centered hell python. Prison python, are you coming with me, or do you have other plans? Of course I am with you. It will be difficult to kill the hell python in the earth's core with your own strength. Besides, I still owe you a favor. Lu Chen nodded slightly and said, in that case, let's go. Jia. There are actually 2 despicable mice hidden here. It's really easy for me to find them. Above the dim sky, a chariot pulled by 2 abyssal dragons and horses passed over the heads of Lu Chen and Long Bayou. The moment Lu Chen emerged from the cave, his aura instantly attracted the attention of the burly man on the chariot. There were dozens of followers behind the chariot. The burly man stood up with his arms around a disheveled barbarian woman. The man was wearing a black robe and was majestic. He exuded a majestic and vast aura of true energy, which was comparable to that of the Mo family, the supreme elder Mo Xingchen. A black totem is outlined on the man's face, which is a rune unique to the barbarians. Barbarian people regard runes as a source of power, and they like to tattoo runes on their bodies. This is not only a symbol of strength, but also a symbol of status. The moment the burly man saw Long Bayou behind Lu Chen, his eyes revealed a hint of surprise and undue delusion. He released the palms that were pressing on the woman's chest, licked his dry lips and said, I don't know why. Human women always make me feel a fire of desire that has nowhere to vent. The woman was a little jealous and said, Mo Tianyu, don't forget our purpose, don't create extraneous matters and waste time on two despicable human races. Like Mo Tianyu, the woman also had intricate patterns on her body. The moment Mo Tianyu's palm left her body, she was the first to show her dissatisfaction. A sly look flashed in Mo Tianyu's eyes. He smiled apologetically and said, "Ruer, go and complete the task assigned by the wizard first. I'll go find you after I kill these two despicable humans." After saying that, Mo Tianyu ordered his followers to drive away in a chariot. Under Mo Rue's resentful gaze, Mo Tianyu slowly fell towards Lu and Shen. Mo Tianyu himself grinned and sarcastically said, "You can get out of here, Aunt. I have taken a liking to your woman." Lu Chen said with a gloomy expression, "Are all barbarians like you?" Seeing that Lu Chen didn't know what to do, Mo Tianyu also suppressed the playful smile on his lips. He gently raised his palm and a strange power of the abyss emerged from his palm, the power of the abyss that raged like a ghost fire, winding towards the landing. A humble human race dares to resist his majesty. Mo Tianyu did not continue to waste words with Lu Chen. He also knew that it was not worth wasting time on such an ant. What he wanted to do now was to turn Long Bayou into a maid who obeyed his words, and then went to find the demon sealing tower and unlock the magic tower. The seals of the two ancient demon gods sealed here. Lu Chen looked at the profound power of the abyss, frowned slightly and said, "Long Bayou, are you going to do it yourself, or do you want me to help you?" Long Bayou's response to Lu Chen was just the sound of a clear sword. Liu Yin's sword cut through the space, and a rippling sword energy roared away, tearing straight towards Mo Tianyu's demonic body. The overbearing power distorted the space, and even the power of the abyss was faintly uncomfortable. The appearance of an enemy. Mo Tianyu didn't show any signs of panic. He smiled evilly and said, "Beauty, even your resistance is so pleasing to the eye. I can make you a promise. If you obey me, I can make an exception and let you escape from the holy ruins alive. Get out of the realm." Long Bayou's cold eyes were so cold that it was like falling into a 10,000-year ice cave. No one had ever dared to say such frivolous words to her, which made her feel very uncomfortable. It seems that Long Bayou also knows that the barbarian in front of her is extraordinary, so she has no intention of holding back. Unlock the Liu Yin sword. The bright silver hair swaying in the wind turned into blue hair, floating melodiously behind the girl's exquisite and graceful body. As the Liu Yin sword was unsealed, the Liu Yin sword in her hand burst out with even more heart-stopping sword energy. The sword energy wherever he passed, there was a harsh sonic boom in the air. Interesting. This sword seems unusual. Mo Tianyu smiled arrogantly. He was not afraid of the terrifying strength displayed by Long Bayou. To him, she was just an ignorant woman. After this woman saw his strength, she would willingly obey him, becoming his plaything. Mo Tianyu thought of this. A playful smile appeared on his lips, and monstrous demonic energy burst out from his body. After he raised his arm, the demonic energy condensed into a blood-red giant hand in midair. The dark giant hand exuded a strange aura. In Long Bayou's trembling eyes, the giant hand actually grabbed the Liu Yin sword. Sword energy. Long Bayou bit his red lips with his white teeth. The barbarian in front of him was a little too arrogant. Even the 9th-level monster giant ape was afraid of avoiding this fierce sword energy, but this guy actually still dared to challenge. The moment the azure sword energy condensed from the Liu Yin sword touched the blood-red giant hand, a look of horror appeared in Mo Tianyu's eyes. The sword energy released by this human girl in the early stage of the martial god was a bit too domineering. The sneer on the corner of Mo Tianyu's mouth condensed slightly, and he couldn't help but look serious. He then raised his other arm and slapped another giant hand towards the roaring vertical and horizontal sword energy. The two vast and majestic forces touched. In an instant, a biting wind blew between heaven and earth. Boom! The sword energy was flowing freely and fire was everywhere. Mo Tianyu stood with his hands behind his back and said with a devilish smile, "I really like you more and more. I will conquer you with my strength and make you my woman. You will serve me and obey me willingly." Long Bayou frowned slightly, and his cold voice was mixed with contempt. "Noisy. Die." Liu Yin sword technique. The azure sword energy condensed again, and the blade of the Liu Yin sword shone with a dazzling white light. The true energy in the world was boiling with it, and it continuously poured into the Liu Yin sword. The dim sky was covered by this unrivaled light. The sword energy illuminated, and after Long Bayou's snow-white wrist fell, The sword light shattered the space, and in Mo Tianyu's slightly stunned demon eyes, it tore towards his demon body. Sea of blood demon corpses. The terrifying sword energy couldn't help but make Mo Tianyu feel a trace of fear in his heart. He didn't intend to hold back anymore, so he also used his killing move. Behind Mo Tianyu's burly demon body, there are demon shadows standing all over the sky. The demon shadows were all wearing beads made of carved human heads around their necks. They had a ferocious face and exposed fangs. The demonic energy condensed in the sky stretched across the sky like a river of blood. Mo Tianyu's thoughts moved slightly. The demon shadow roared ferociously, and the body of the terrifying demon shadow began to transform from virtual reality to reality, as if the real ancient gods and demons were resurrected. Hundreds of demonic figures rushed towards Long Bayou's silhouette, like vicious dogs attacking their prey. Lu Chen had only seen this terrifying scene when Kai Xiao was resurrected. But Kai Xiao can still be regarded as an ancient god and demon, and the demonic shadow summoned by Mo Tianyu is obviously not qualified to compare with Kai Xiao. One after another, the demonic figures opened their bloody mouths, and a strong and pungent smell of blood emitted from the huge mouths. The moment several demonic figures touched the azure sword energy of Liuyan's sword, they were annihilated into blood mist and dissipated in the air, but the pure sword energy of Liuyan's sword also dimmed. Lu Chen raised his eyes boredly and narrowed his eyes slightly at Mo Tianyu. His body began to transform into a dragon. In a soul-stirring dragon roar, Lu Chen's figure rushed out like lightning, and his domineering punch shattered thousands of demons. The shadow rushed towards Mo Tianyu's demonic body without any warning. When Lu Chen broke through to the late stage of demigod, he was on par with Mo Xingchen, who was in the late stage of martial god. At that time, Mo Xingchen was not killed by Lu Chen because of the blessing of the Thunder Prison Breaking formation. Now that Lu Chen has reached the peak of demigod, he is not afraid at all even if he reaches the peak of barbarian martial god. Demonic Sky Feather's demonic body flew out unexpectedly, and its body was submerged by the monstrous demonic shadow. The demonic shadow turned into a phantom and dissipated, leaving thin ripples in the air, but the terrifying aura still did not dissipate. Mo Tianyu's furious voice came from the shadow. "Despicable human race, how dare you sneak attack on me?" Lu Chen stood not far from Long Bayou, ignoring Mo Tianyu's cynicism. The moment the Xuanyuan sword appeared in Lu Chen's palm, thousands of demonic figures trembled slightly, as if they had seen something extremely terrifying. The Eight Desolations sword technique. The sword sweeps through the Eight Desolations. Xuanyuan's sword transformed into 7 long swords of abyssal golden light, a total of 8 long swords, each exuding terrifying sword intent. The sword intent roared in and tore towards thousands of demonic shadows. A terrifying wind swept across the sky and the earth. The raging wind stirred up Lu Chen's hair and blew his robes with a hunting sound. Lu Chen's eyes were focused on a demonic figure, and an intricate path was outlined in front of him. Seal method. The seal method burst out with bright light, the light overflowed and the heaven and earth twisted. Bawang sword formation. Rise. The Eight Desolations sword formation is derived from the Eight Desolations sword technique, and its dominance is not reduced at all. Intricate formations bloomed from the soles of Lu Chen's feet, shrouding the thousands of demonic shadows in them. Mo Tianyu, who was behind the demonic shadows, was slightly startled, and then said jokingly, "A mere sword formation, do you really think you can trap me?" Blood Demon Halberd. Fight. A blood-red halberd filled with the power of the abyss. The halberd drew an arc in Mo Tianyu's hand, and 2 crescent-like moonblades slashed out, striking at the abyss gold sword transformed by the Xuanyuan sword. As the sound of metal colliding came, blazing sparks scattered all over the place where the sword blade and halberd collided, as gorgeous, bright and dazzling as fire trees and silver flowers. In the formation, 8 Xuanyuan swords penetrate the huge body of the demon shadow. The ancient artifact Xuanyuan sword has extremely powerful lethality against barbarians and monsters soaked in the power of the abyss. Even a simple touch will have a strong impact on them. The tearing pain. Under the golden sword energy of Xuanyuan sword, those demonic figures pose no threat at all. As if realizing the extraordinary power of Xuanyuan sword and Liuyan sword, Mo Tianyu's palm holding the blood demon halberd lit up with crimson light, just like the crimson-colored clouds on the sky at dawn. Half of the sky and the earth. The light was soaked into a dazzling red at this moment. Okay, this is incredible. Even a humble ant dares to challenge me. Today I will not only take your woman away, but I will also let you watch me ravage her. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Let me feel what real despair is. Mo Tianyu was not afraid at all. He was a strong man in the late stage of the martial god, not to mention that the barbarians could crush the human race at the same level. How could an early martial god and a peak demigod be afraid of two ants? Mo Tianyu's crazy laughter came from among the thousands of demonic shadows. He stood in the air, and the blood demon halberd in his hand slid down. The blow mixed with the strange power of the abyss tore open the space without any bells and whistles. Stirring up strong air currents in the air, the red Zhenqi blasted towards Lu Chen and Long Bayou. War halberd demon kill. A trace of rage flashed across Mo Tianyu's scarlet demon eyes. His figure disappeared like a ghost and appeared behind Lu Chen, with the blood demon halberd falling from his hand. Just when he thought he was about to succeed, a blue sword energy rose into the sky and separated him from Lu Chen. The gap was like a natural chasm. Mo Tianyu's demon body flew out backwards, barely able to stabilize his figure in midair. At this time, Lu Chen looked back and smiled coldly, as if he was mocking Mo Tianyu's incompetence. Lu Chen raised his palm, and one of the 8 golden long swords fell into Lu Chen's palm. Then, the figures of Lu Chen and Long Bayou were like swimming dragons, walking in front of Mo Tianyu. With the long sword in their hands, the sword was rippling with majestic and astonishing sword energy, and it collided with the blood-stained blood demon halberd, creating sporadic sparks. The strange strength of the two men also forced Mo Tianyu to retreat. Lu Chen pointed his right hand at the sword, controlling the remaining 7 Xuanyuan swords with his mind. The 7 Xuanyuan swords struck at Mo Tianyu's burly demon body from all directions. The golden sword energy cut through his arm, and black blood flowed from his arm. Red turbid blood. Mo Tianyu lowered his eyes and glanced at his arm. He couldn't remember how long it had been since he had been injured and bled. How dare these two ants as humble humans do this? Lu Chen ignored Mo Tianyu's anger and sneered. Is this your strength? Be careful in the next life, not just any woman can covet you. The sword array in the space shone with dazzling light, and a huge abyss gold long sword condensed on the sky. The long sword appeared out of thin air. The moment Mo Tianyu reacted, the long sword embodying the majestic sword intent had already emerged from the sky, falling from the sky above him. 1 handle. 2 handles. Thousands of handles. 10,000 handles. Countless Xuanyuan swords fell like a rain of swords. The long swords split the space. Thousands of demonic figures were wiped out in the terrifying sword array. Their ferocious faces were full of fear. No, it's impossible. How can it be possible with 2 ants? A look of surprise flashed across Mo Tianyu's pupils. No, it should be a look of deep horror. In his horrified eyes, Yuan's golden long sword was inserted straight into Mo Tianyu's tall demon body. The majestic sword energy almost shook his demon soul away. The shadow appeared in the distance, its 2 arms raised high, forming a dark barrier to resist the vertical and horizontal sword energy. Wandering dragon shocks the shadow. Long Bayou's light and cold voice echoed in the Bawang sword formation. Her figure shuttled through the sword formation like a dragon flying in the clouds and mist. The devastating azure sword energy roared in, and the world was suddenly shaken by that. The sword light illuminated, and as the sword light tore through the space, Mo Tianyu's entire demon body was torn apart and scattered on the messy ground. The barbarian has extremely powerful vitality. Even if his body is torn apart, his soul still exists. This is why the barbarian ancestor and the 3 demon gods under him have not been destroyed after thousands of years. Mo Tianyu seemed to realize the terrifying strength of Lu Chen and Long Bayou, and he began to beg for mercy with trembling soul. Don't kill me. I am the son of the 3rd priest of the barbarian tribe. If you kill me, my father will never spare you lightly. Lu Chen stepped on Mo Tianyu's head and trampled his head into the soil without any worries because of Mo Tianyu's identity. No. Don't, I'm still valuable. I can tell you everything I know. I told you, it's too late. Lu Chen's voice sounded like a judge, and Mo Tianyu raised the Xuanyuan sword in his hand amid the horrified look on his face. The vertical and horizontal sword energy tore through it, annihilating everything under the sword light. Wu Kun, including Mo Tianyu's soul. After Lu Chen put Mo Tianyu's blood demon halberd into the system space, Long Bayou's question came from behind. Lu Chen, what did you mean by, whose woman, just now? Lu Chen was stunned for a moment, then raised his eyes in astonishment and said, "When did I say that? The wind was a bit strong just now. You must have heard wrong." "Yeah, certainly." Lu Chen actually didn't know why he just blurted out that Long Bayou was his woman. Perhaps it was Mo Tianyu's arrogance that angered him, which made him speak a little incoherently. Fortunately, Long Bayou did not continue to dwell on this issue, otherwise Lu Chen might not be able to explain it clearly. Long Bayou was as cold as the 1,000-year-old snow lotus blooming on the top of the snow-capped mountains. She was as bright and flawless as ever, and so noble that no one dared to feel any blasphemy. However, it was impossible for a normal man to dislike such a noble and flawless girl. As the Liuyan sword in Long Bayou's hand returned to the scabbard, the 3,000 blue hairs turned into bright white hair, floating melodiously behind her. The two of them turned into two rainbow lights as if they were in harmony, flying towards the Xian mountains. Go. Within the territory of the Holy Ruins, there is a huge Fadian palace. The moment Mo Tianyu's demon soul dissipated, one of the 3 soul lamps held by a ferocious-looking old man in the palace suddenly shattered. The old devil's eyes flashed with a cold and gloomy light, and his voice was cold and biting. "Yuer's soul lamp is broken. How is it possible? Although Yuer is a bit playful, he is still a god of war after all. The strong ones in the later period, even the human warriors at the peak of the martial gods, may not be his opponents. Are there still many martial gods in the Holy Ruins that have not left?" Compared with Mo Tianyu's sudden death, the old man was more worried that the powerful martial gods remaining in the Holy Ruins would hinder the barbarians' plan to resurrect the 3 ancient gods and demons. The old devil's deep eyes flashed with a cold look. "It seems that it is necessary to inform them of the situation. We must not let the warriors of the human race affect our plan. Yuer, you can go with peace of mind. My father will help you take revenge." In the Xian mountains, hundreds of thousands of abyssal beasts are fighting with the human race, and the sounds of fighting are constant. In this secret realm as cold as an ice cave, the temperature emitted by the Xian mountains is enough for human warriors to withstand the cold. But what these warriors did not expect was that a large number of ugly and ferocious abyssal beasts suddenly appeared in the realm of the Holy Ruins. They are bloodthirsty and violent, and no matter whether they are humans or demons, it is difficult to escape their sharp fangs. "Lu Chongfeng, we can't hold on any longer. These strange-looking monsters don't feel any pain. My attacks hit them, and they didn't even make a sound." A young man looked ahead anxiously. The middle-aged man said. Lu Chongfeng gritted his teeth and said, "We must not allow these monsters to break through the defense line and burden the brothers in the other 3 departments." "Yes, Captain." After experiencing these days of abyssal beast attacks, the human warriors in the Purple Flame Mountains have formed a disciplined team to resist the attacks of these terrifying abyssal beasts. There are approximately 100 people in each team, which shows how huge the number of warriors trapped in the Holy Ruins is. At this moment, the figures of Lu Chen and Long Bayou passed by the sky. The warriors who were fighting with the abyssal beast couldn't help but raise their heads. What caught their eyes was Long Bayou's stunningly beautiful face. "They too, I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. This face should only exist in heaven. That's the Valkyrie goddess Long Bayou. Why is she trapped in the realm of the Holy Ruins?" In the end, someone finally recognized Long Bayou, and the Valkyrie Long Bayou's name instantly caused an uproar. "What? That's Valkyrie. Are we saved? The Valkyrie must be here to save us, right? God is wise. Let Long Bayou come to save us in this critical moment." Just when everyone was ecstatic, an inappropriate voice sounded. "No, maybe she is not here to save us." "What are you talking about? She is the Valkyrie goddess Long Bayou. How could she not save us until death?" Looking at Long Bayou's disappearing figure, he slowly said, "When I was chased by these weird monsters, I saw them before. I tried to catch up with them and ask for help, but, from beginning to end, all I waited for was silence. My sister died in the mouth of the monster, not even a bone was left." "Li Yuan, you must have seen it wrong. The Valkyrie is definitely not a person who refuses to save anyone." Many warriors are still defending Long Bayou and arguing with reason. Obviously they still don't want to believe that Long Bayou will die without saving him. Li Yuan smiled bitterly and shook his head. At first, he thought that Long Bayou and Lu Chen would help, but what happened? Li Yuan said calmly, "The Valkyrie in your mind seems to have no intention of saving us. Lu Chen, like Long Bayou, is not a virgin. Why should you give your life for some irrelevant people? Everyone has his own destiny." In the Purple Flame Mountains, The hell python inhabited by the hell python. The hell has lost the emperor flame stone crystal and is no longer as hot as before, but the remaining heat is enough to burn ordinary warriors into ashes. Lu Chen stood in the air, looking at the rolling sea of lava and fire. The earth core hell python shouldn't have left, right? Sure enough, the moment Lu Chen approached the flame hell, the huge body of the 9th level monster, the hell python, sprang out of the sea of fire. It would never forget the one who snatched the most precious emperor flame stone crystal from under its nose of human beings. Even if 100 years passed, it would still remember Lu Chen's aura, but what it didn't expect was that Lu Chen would dare to come back. Thick black smoke burned from the top of the flame prison, and the smoke filled the sky, making the already bleak realm of the holy ruins even more bizarre. Two scarlet eyes like hell lanterns in the black smoke stared at Lu Chen. The hell python spit out snake letters and bit at Lu Chen. Even Long Bayou trembled from its huge body. The hell python was an ancient monster, even a giant monster of the same level. Apes do not dare to challenge its edge, especially the power of fire controlled by the hell python in the earth's core, which makes it difficult for many monsters to get close to it. Lu Chen and Long Bayou didn't talk nonsense. The moment Xuanyuan's sword and Liuyan's sword were sacrificed, even the heaven and earth moved. The strange movement between heaven and earth instantly attracted the attention of the warriors trapped in the holy ruins. The black smoke that filled the sky was even ignited by the strange flames. The flames shot straight into the sky and illuminated the entire Xian mountain range. What on earth is going on? Could it be that the fire python that lives in the flame hell is rioting? Damn it. There is this weird monster in front of you, and there is the 9th level monster earth core hell python behind you. Do we really have to explain here? Don't be distracted. These weird monsters are more cunning than we thought. After the team leader Lu Chongfeng reminded them, many warriors had no time to pay attention to the fire that shot straight into the sky. The abyssal beast in front of them was enough for them to deal with. I don't know how much time passed, but it was about a day later. In the Purple Flame Mountains, many warriors have been beaten to death but are still fighting on the front lines with the abyssal beast. They are also exhausted, but they do not want to give up, do not want to die in a place like this, and be buried in the mouth of such an ugly monster. Ah! A warrior's arm was bitten by the abyssal beast, and his blood was dripping with blood. The blood dyed his robe red. When the abyssal beast opened its bloody mouth and was about to swallow the warrior into its mouth, a blue sword energy tore through the space, and the abyssal beast tore the space into pieces. The abyssal beast was destroyed into clouds of smoke. Everyone looked in the direction of the sword light and saw Long Bayou standing in the sky. The Liuyan sword in her hand was still emitting a sharp sword light. It could be seen that the devastating azure sword energy came from Long Bayou's hand. Saved. Is that Valkyrie? We are saved? That's right, it's the Valkyrie Long Bayou. I knew she wouldn't ignore us. The moment Long Bayou appeared, the world erupted in cheers. In their view, Long Bayou was their savior, the savior who stepped forward in this critical moment. Long Bayou's deep eyes revealed a strange brilliance, and she did not expect that because of her appearance, these warriors who were about to give up would become as excited as if they had been given up. With the help of Long Bayou, the god of war, the hundreds of abyssal beasts were easily eliminated. Countless people panted for the rest of their lives, with expressions of joy on their faces, but Long Bayou's next words made them unable to laugh anymore. Everyone, the barbarians released the abyssal beasts in order to turn you into blood food and resurrect the ancient gods and demons sealed in the holy ruins. If we don't stop the barbarians, we will all die. Long Bayou's faint voice sounded, causing countless people to raise their eyes in surprise. Barbarian. Abyssal beast. What is that? And what does turning us into blood food mean? Many warriors have never even heard of barbarians, and they also know nothing about abyssal beasts. The barbarians. Are not all dead? Lu Chongfeng, the captain of this team, murmured to himself. Then Lu Chongfeng stood up and said, Everyone, the barbarians mentioned by the Valkyrie were the culprits that caused the war in the holy ruins thousands of years ago. This holy ruins is the ancient ruins where the barbarians once fought against our human race. Look, the barbarians who came here want to use us as nourishment to provide strength to the resurrected ancient gods and demons. Hateful. Although many warriors had never heard of barbarians, when they heard that they were regarded as blood food resurrected by ancient gods and demons, they all gritted their teeth and looked like they wanted to kill all the barbarians. Long Bayou glanced at Lu Chongfeng and didn't expect that besides her, There was someone here who knew the barbarian people so well, which saved her the effort to explain. Long Bayou continued. There are only two ways in front of us now. One is to stay here and wait for death. The barbarians are almost invincible at the same level. It will be difficult for you to survive from their hands based on your strength. Valkyrie, you must have something, right? Luan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, forced himself to stand up, stared at Long Bayou with his dark eyes and asked. Luan's sister died in the mouths of those abyssal beasts, and he did not want to repeat the same mistake as his sister and become food in the mouths of the abyssal beasts. Long Bayou was not annoyed when Luan interrupted him, and continued. The second way is to forcefully break the seal of the Holy Ruins realm and escape from here. Break the seal of the Holy Ruins? How can this be? It is naturally difficult to break the seal of the Holy Ruins, but now you have no choice but to believe me. This is your only chance to survive. Lu Chongfeng concentrated and asked in doubt, Valkyrie, what do you need us to do? Long Bayou looked at him straightly and said in a neither salty nor cool voice, what you have to do is to minimize the casualties, delay the resurrection of the ancient gods and demons, and prepare enough time for my friend. Only he can break through this place. The seal of the Kaisheng Ruins realm. From now on, I will work with you to resist the attack of the abyssal beast and reduce your casualties. The Earth-centered Hell Python has been killed by Lu Chen and Long Bayou. What Long Bayou has to do is to protect these weaklings while Lu Chen is refining the Earth-centered Hell Python demon pill. The warriors must not be reduced to sacrifices for the resurrection of the ancient demon god. Otherwise, even if Lu Chen breaks through the martial god, it will be difficult to deal with the two resurrected ancient demon gods. She needed to buy time for Lu Chen to break the seal of the Holy Ruins before the two ancient demon gods were resurrected. In this extremely weird and terrifying atmosphere, all the warriors in the Xian Mountains gathered together to discuss countermeasures. The attacks of the abyssal beasts became more and more fierce each time. Even if they fought back the enemy together with their branches, it was still difficult to control the casualties. Many warriors were buried in the bloody mouth of the abyss beast and became sacrifices for the demon god's resurrection. It was unknown which round of the abyssal beast's large-scale attack this was. There were even barbarians personally leading the abyssal beast army. Everyone was eagerly hoping that Lu Shen would successfully break through the martial god and break the seal of the Holy Ruins realm. Although they knew that breaking the seal of the Holy Ruins realm meant that countless Dao abyss beasts had escaped. But this is tens of thousands of times better than people from the outside who have no idea about the situation in the Holy Ruins. They must tell the outside world about the situation in the Holy Ruins. For this reason, they can only break the seal here. If the two ancient demon gods really regain their full strength, even if they don't forcefully open the realm of the Holy Ruins, the two demon gods must have a way to get out of here. Luan, how are your injuries? Lu Chongfeng looked at Luan, who had only one arm left, frowned and asked. Captain, I can no longer feel the pain in my arm, Luan said with a pale smile. It's not just Luan, but many warriors here are like this. Valkyrie, when did your friend succeed in breaking through? As you can see, the brothers are almost unable to withstand it. Lu Chongfeng's patience is about to be exhausted. These days, he is on tenterhooks. If it weren't for Long Bai the hope you had given them, he might have been unable to hold on to. Long Bayou shook his head slightly. She didn't know that Lu Chen didn't give her an exact time, but just told her to delay as long as she could. Long Bayou's long hair, as bright as the Milky Way, was blowing in the wind behind her. Her delicate shoulders were bearing too much pressure. Not to mention them, even Long Bayou himself didn't know when Lu Chen would be able to break through. After all, the demigod, there is a chasm-like gap between him and the martial god. It would be difficult for ordinary warriors to cross it in their lifetime. Can Lu Chen break through the martial god? Long Bayou's beautiful eyes like glass drooped slightly. Lu Chen gave her too many surprises. She should believe him this time. Just when Long Bayou was stunned, several gold-plated warships flew towards the Xian Mountains in the distant sky. The war drums on the warships sounded in unison, and the thunderous drums resounded through the sky. Long Bayou's eyes suddenly focused. That was a barbarian warship. Although the barbarians have also sent warships before, the size of the warships was not half as large as this time. It was obvious that the barbarians wanted to launch a final general attack. Long Bayou's eyes tightened and he said, "The barbarians are coming. Follow me to meet the enemy." The sky above the Xian mountains reverberated with thunderous drums, and the mountains were filled with the demonic roars of the abyssal beasts. Through the dim space, on one of the warships, an old man with a gloomy expression stood at the front of the warship, holding in his hand a scepter wrapped with various strips of cloth and hung with various gold and silver jewelry, which was unique to barbarian sacrifices. The attire and the scepter in their hands represent their noble status. Behind the old man in black robes stood respectfully dozens of barbarian warriors holding broadaxes. Their faces were covered with black lines. The most important thing was that their strength was higher than that of demigods, and there were even 3 of them. A god of war. A clear sword cry echoed in the space, and Long Bayou's silhouette dissipated like mist, appearing in front of the 3 warships. She softly chanted, "The dragon is shocked by the dragon." The sword energy like a swimming dragon whizzed past, and bombarded the warship at the front without any bias. She didn't know how many barbarians were mixed in the realm of the holy ruins, but it didn't matter to her at all. The barbarians came. She kills one. The barbarian priest on the warship, his deep eyes lit up fiercely, he suddenly raised the scepter in his hand and dropped it hard on the deck of the warship. Intricate black seals lit up from under his body, and tightly then, in Long Bayou's surprised eyes, a black barrier blocked her sword energy. The old man sneered and said, "No wonder the men I sent died in battle again and again. It turns out that there is a martial god sitting here, but you want to prevent the resurrection of the demon god. It is simply wishful thinking." The old man raised the scepter in his hand, and a ray of light permeated with the power of the strange abyss penetrated the black barrier and burst towards Long Bayou. That ray of light had the power to annihilate all vitality. Long Bayou even felt a trace of it, the smell of death. Not good. Valkyrie is in danger. Take care of yourself first, these abyssal beasts have become stronger again. Damn it, why can't I seem to kill all these abyssal beasts? Lu Chongfeng raised his knife and lowered it. One of the deep beasts became the dead soul under his sword, but more deep beasts flew towards him and bit him. The Liuyan sword cut through Long Bayou's white and tender catkin. A drop of blood exuding a pure and majestic aura dyed the seal on the Liuyan sword crimson, and Long Bayou's bright silver hair turned into blue silk. Her true strength began to be revealed, infinitely approaching the late stage of the god of war. 2 crescent-shaped blades condensed from behind Long Bayou and blasted away towards the dim beam of light. From the fluctuations of true energy in the old man's body, Long Bayou deduced that the old man at least had the terrifying strength of the late martial god, no matter. Maybe even stronger. There was no wave in Long Bayou's eyes. She didn't hold anything back. The Liuyan sword, which was filled with infinite sword intent, was like a rippling wave of true energy, moving towards the black light at an extreme and astonishing speed. After attacking, the 2 powerful forces bombarded each other, and the airflow between heaven and earth even began to solidify. The old man in black robe showed no signs of fear. He slowly ordered, "Hurry up and get in." Yes, 3 priests. Following the old man's order, dozens of demigods behind him also used secret techniques, condensing strange beams of light that converged and blasted towards Long Bayou's thin silhouette. And the 3 barbarian martial gods rushed out of the warship, and their burly bodies rushed towards Long Bayou. In the realm of the holy ruins, there is only one powerful martial god in the human race, Long Bayou, because no martial god is stupid enough to be trapped in the realm of the holy ruins. This also leads to Long Bayou having to deal with these barbarians alone. Musha. If it weren't for Long Bayou's hard support, Lu Chongfeng would have died many times with the strength of those 8th-grade demigods. Long Bayou was caught off guard. Her body was surrounded by the 3 martial gods who suddenly attacked, and a fierce attack bombarded her behind. As if Long Bayou had been hit hard, a touch of sweetness overflowed from her throat, her soul trembled violently, and her body was about to fall from the sky. Just when Long Bayou's life was hanging by a thread, a loud cry of phoenix resounded through the sky, and Lu Chen's figure jumped out from the endless flaming prison, exuding vast and majestic energy around him, even lingering with bright lights. The complex texture of the avenue is indeed the aura of the god of war. The corner of Long Bayou's mouth curled up. Lu Chen really did not disappoint him. The moment Lu Chen broke through, the solid space between heaven and earth suddenly boiled, burning with blazing flames on his body. The flames raged endlessly, and the overbearing power was enough to burn everything in the world. Lu Chen saw that Long Bayou was seriously injured, and a hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. Do the barbarians really think that they can do whatever they want within the territory of the Holy Ruins? Lu Chen's appearance also surprised Mo Duanshan, the third priest of the barbarian tribe. Mo Duanshan also didn't expect that there was someone hiding in the flame hell below, and he was also a martial god. But no matter what the god of war, he will eventually become the blood food for the resurrection of the demon god. He will not let go of any human in the Holy Ruins realm. The identity of the human who killed his son Mo Tianyu has not yet been found out. He will let everyone be buried with Mo Tianyu. Mo Duanshan licked the corners of his chapped lips and sneered. This priest will not let go of any ants from the human race. The ants will suffer death. The scepter in Mo Duanshan's hand slammed down, and the destructive power condensed with the power of the abyss continued to gather at the front of the scepter. The terrifying aura blasted towards Long Bayou. One ant was eliminated first, and the next one was Lu Chen. Under the siege of many barbarians, Long Bayou could no longer hold on, and now he was at the end of his strength. There was an infinite coldness in Lu Chen's eyes. He raised his palm casually, and an ancient divine dragon phantom condensed in the dim sky and earth. There was no emotion in Ji Long's spiritual eyes as he looked down at Mo Duanshan on the warship. The ancient dragon roared low. It was obviously just a phantom condensed from the true energy, but it gave people an extremely real illusion. The giant dragon protected Long Bayou within its body, and its huge body resisted the countless attacks that came towards her. Attacking, it looked down at the warship like a god, and spit out a devastating beam of true energy. Two destructive forces bombarded each other, and the barrier surrounding the warship dimmed visibly with the naked eye. Such terrifying strength made Mo Duanshan slightly stunned. His pair of ancient, unrippled pupils stared at the adversary. Lu Chen stood in the air. Under Mo Duanshan's calm surface, there was already a turmoil in his heart. You must know that the barrier of this warship is difficult to cause damage to even a strong person in the late stage of martial god. However, Lu Chen just raised his palm slightly, and the barrier protecting the warship actually rippled with strong fluctuations. If the ancient dragon with a few more attacks, this warship will definitely be destroyed. In that overbearing blow, the three barbarian warrior gods surrounding Long Bayou were blown away by the airflow caused by the explosion under the powerful force, and retreated hundreds of meters before barely holding on in the air. Body shape. Mo Duanshan narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the ancient dragon's shadow. He felt an indescribable sense of oppression from the shadow, and the domineering aura made even him feel a little nervous. Mo Duanshan's face was covered with cold frost, and a black seal was outlined under his feet. The seal burst out with a breath of death, and a giant beast from the abyss was summoned by him from below the warship. The snake-like monster looks extremely weird. The snake has a strange human face, and the woman's hair is a hydra infected by the power of the abyss. The 9 snake heads make a hissing sound. Snakes even have horns growing on their heads, and smelly venom drips from the corners of their mouths and drips on the snake demon's huge body. What the barbarians are best at is taming monsters. Even if it is a powerful 9th-level monster, they have 10,000 ways to tame it. This hydra is the masterpiece of Mo Duanshan. The strength of the hydra is comparable to the peak of the martial god. Lu Chen's pupils reflected the figure of hydra, and he smiled contemptuously. Then Lu Chen's figure appeared like a ghost behind the 3 barbarian warrior gods, and punched out without any reservation. Under the overbearing power, one of the barbarian warrior gods turned into blood mist and fell. Lu Chen's movements were as smooth as clouds and water, without any hindrance. By the time the other 2 martial gods reacted, it was already too late. The 3 barbarian warrior gods died in Lu Chen's hands so easily. There was no trace of their presence in this bleak space. Lu Chen's strange and unpredictable strength made Mo Duanshan stunned for a moment. Even Mo Duanshan didn't realize what happened. The 3 martial gods he brought with him just fell, and he didn't even have a chance to save them. The corner of Mo Duanshan's mouth couldn't help but twitch, and he said angrily, "It would be too cheap for you, an ant, to directly let you become the blood food of Lord Demon God. Before that, this priest will cut you into pieces with thousands of knives and cut your body into pieces. Part. There was a barbarian who was as arrogant and unruly as you before, and he also said that he wanted to kill me, but in the end he became the dead soul under my Xuanyuan sword." As he spoke, the Xuanyuan sword rippling with majestic true energy appeared in Lu Chen's hand. Under the control of his mind, Long Bayou was sent to a safe place by Ji Long, and he raised the golden sword in his hand. One sword opens the sky. The vertical and horizontal sword energy tore apart the space, and a look of horror flashed across Mo Duanshan's old eyes. Why did he feel a wave of death from that abyss gold long sword? The Xuanyuan sword seemed to have extremely restrained power over the abyssal power in his body, and could even suppress the abyssal power in his body. Mo Duanshan asked in shock. What kind of power is this? How could a mere martial god master such domineering power? The blood demon's sky-covering hand. In shock, Mo Duanshan raised his palm, and there was a continuous blood mist gathering on the sky above Lu Chen's head. The moment Lu Chen's Xuanyuan sword fell, a bloody hand also condensed out at this time, and the bloody hand was filled with blood. The smell of blood. Under the giant hand is the huge body of the nine-headed snake demon, and the eyes of the 9 extremely ferocious snake heads are all lit up with strange red light. What kind of monster is this? Could the person who saved Valkyrie be our savior? Wait. My arm. What happened? My arms are starting to turn to stone. What the hell is going on? As teammates around him turned into cold stone one by one, Lu Chongfeng finally realized the seriousness of the problem. He hurriedly shouted. Don't even stare into the eyes of that snake demon. There's something weird about those eyes. Mo Duanshan sneered and said. It's too late. I said that none of you can escape. Go to Medusa's gaze.